All right, all right, all right. Hello and welcome to the RJ Squared podcast, where we invite you to join the conversation. I am Jamal and I'm here with Jermaine and Renell. We're your unfiltered crew diving into life, culture, manhood, and so much more. We stream live when we want to on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the socials. Hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, and join the conversation. Help grow the channel and build the community. All right, tonight's episode, a lot, because we are 2 weeks behind, and this is going to be quite the show. So I'm going to start with Happy Hypocrite 2.0. What's good,
Nope,
man?
nothing, man. Here chilling, ready to shoot. Miss you guys. It's been a while. Ready to get into it, brother.
Captain D. That's
Captain
a
D is here,
throwback to the
sir.
90s, man.
It is a throwback. It is a throwback. I had to watch whoop that Florida ass last night, and it was great. Although they did scare me for a second because Florida started to come back, but yeah, it was great seeing start the year off. I think they're 4-0 now. So, shout out to
There you
UM.
go. There you go. There you go. And, I had a revelation. If we were a boy band, I think Jermaine would be the bad boy. Renell would be the heartthrob. And I'd be the one who writes and produces the music.
Jermaine's like Bobby Brown.
Basically, yeah. And
Bad boy.
you'd be Ralph Tresvant, and I guess I'd be Michael Bivins.
There you go.
Yeah, he did Bell Biv DeVoe. So anyway, I had that. I was thinking about that yesterday, but anyway, that has
That's
nothing to
funny.
do with anything.
Maybe we rebrand ourselves into boy band.
Well, you know what? Because you were coming up with different art, and I saw like
Yeah.
3 characters or 3 superheroes, and I thought, oh, what if we were like a 3-member boy band?
Yeah.
Who would be who? Yeah, so you would definitely be the heartthrob, Renell, for sure. On the cover of like Pop magazine, and Jermaine's getting into fights, and
I'm the drummer.
there it is. Yeah, for sure.
He's a little Charles Barkley.
Oh man, but so much has happened. We could start with anything really, because the country is in a hot mess right now over Charlie Kirk. We're a little late to the conversation about him. But I would love to get both of your perspectives on what you felt about Kirk and his Turning Point initiative, like him going to the different colleges and having the debates, and then what you feel in the wake of his tragic passing. So I'm going to pass it to Captain D. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So I think we start by saying and condemning violence as a whole, right? Whether it's left, right, middle, up or down, doesn't matter. What color, race, ethnicity, full stop. That's the bottom line. It's never okay. I think when it comes to Charlie Kirk and that entire situation, you have to also look at, what is a political debate and what is provocation, right? And when I go back, because I thought to myself, let me go back and see the actual video, right? I didn't see the grotesque part. I didn't see that, but I did see everything up to that point. And when you look at that video, it wasn't a debate. What it was, in my humble opinion, was provocation, was grandstanding, was anything you say doesn't matter because what I'm saying is correct. And where I'm from, that's not healthy, amicable debate. And so does it make it right? No, it doesn't. Because at the end of the day, Charlie Kirk had a family, 2 beautiful little babies, and a wife, Erica. And our hearts and minds go out to her. And I know that she's going through a lot right now, but that doesn't change, the fact that as a whole, as a country, somehow, some way, we got to find common ground and learn that just because this person thinks differently, they are the enemy, because they're not. They just think differently, and that's okay. So those are my initial thoughts.
All right. I love it. I love it. Happy hypocrite.
Now, I haven't looked at too much after the, I guess technically it would be considered an assassination.
Yeah.
Things online, just because I've been a tad bit busy. I have seen some of Charlie Kirk's debates, regardless if you feel they're a debate or not, with him going out to colleges and speaking with the youth or the young adults. Um, I think in every debate, the persons that are debating feel strongly about the topics in which they're speaking about. And I think in most cases, each person feels they're right in a particular way. They may give a little leeway to take in what the other party is saying. But I don't think in most cases people will change their mind with one sit down. I don't think it works that way. I think it takes life lessons, experience to come to some understanding, regardless if you're leaning left or right, to either, venture towards the middle or venture all the way on the other side of the fence. As far as the murder, obviously gun violence, wrong, regardless of how somebody feels, if it differs from your worldview or your ideas of how the world should be, it doesn't mean that their life should be taken. So I think overall, Charlie Kirk, the person, was doing more good than harm. And I think it's a tragedy that his life was taken.
All right. All right. I actually wanted to share a clip um, on a take from Charlie Kirk because there's been a lot of, I think, misinformation about his stance on race, among many other topics, but that's one of them, obviously, that's near and dear to me. But before I show that clip, I just want to say this. Yeah, like you said, Renell, it's not right to resort to violence when someone doesn't agree with you. That's like the definition of intolerance, and it's just not what our country should stand for. Because at the end of the day, he was a person, and like everyone else, he had the right to express himself. I mean, that's all he was doing. He was just talking. And Dr. King got shot down for talking. Malcolm X got shot down for talking. You know what I mean? And so in 2025, it's the same thing. Where if you don't agree with whoever, that they feel you should be shot for it, which is absurd, regardless of what he's saying. Um, but I actually felt that Charlie Kirk had a lot of uh, good things to say. Um, I don't think he was right about everything he said, and like anyone else, he was flawed when it came to certain topics or whatnot. But at least he was out there, and at least he was much like what we're doing on this podcast. Just trying to start a conversation. He was trying to get young voters involved and passionate about politics. And whether you agreed or not, the point was to get out and support our country, which is what he was doing, which I think was admirable. Never mind, how far left or right he went, but yeah, I do want to show this clip, and I want to get your guys' take on it. So hold on, let me set this up here. Uh-oh, it's been a minute. Here we go. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, I'm about to play it right now.
Charlie Kirk being a racist for 2 minutes straight.
Give me one thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like DNA-wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. If you look at DNA independently in a science laboratory, they cannot distinguish between a black person or a white person if they look at just the DNA, because the only difference is the melanin. It has been disproven. Race is a social construct that I want to break out of.
And I want to give Charlie some credit here, okay? Back in 2019, Charlie Kirk helped a lot of young blacks get to the White House. He changed a lot of their lives. A lot of them never imagined going to the White House, and Charlie helped hundreds of young black boys and girls go to the White House. Charlie, thank you for that.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, man.
So for people who want to call Charlie a racist, kiss my black ass. Excuse my language. Charlie Kirk is not a racist.
See, you got an anti-DEI shirt on, so this is about to get good.
Well, instead of debating DEI, why don't you define it?
Got you. So diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know what that means.
Okay, my fault.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it.
Ooh, didn't earn it. You've been working on it. I honestly believe that the fact that you got to this point where you was already unrepresented on these campuses already shows that you did actually earn to get those fundings, did actually earn to get that exclusivity tailored to you.
But let's try to find some common ground.
Okay.
Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault.
Yeah.
Sorry, my fault. I think that they should be hired based on their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory, is it focuses on race more than competence. And
Okay.
That is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Where DEI says, no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency. And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like.
We look at that racism going out. Boy, Charlie, racism.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, a lot to unpack there, but I'll be quick. So, nothing he said there was offensive or racist, in my opinion, at all. In fact, I really do agree with, obviously the DNA, and really the only difference being melanin. Well, there's two differences: there's melanin and there's culture. Because black people like a lot of sugar and salt, and so we tend to have more issues with diabetes because of that cultural difference in how we eat. But I think that gets conflated with race in terms of instead of diet and culture and the way in which we live our lives. And so there's definitely a distinguish or a difference, right? So there's that. And then with DEI, I think the left, I think their heart's in the right place with wanting there to be equity for all. But until we resolve some older issues like, ensuring everyone gets a fair shake at education and a fair opportunity to get to the point where they can have a bachelor's or master's or fill in the holes where we fail to have a need for employment, we have to rely on what we have available in terms of competency. So we have to first improve our educational system and that whole thing. So I agree with them on that front. So anyway, that's just my take. I don't think he was a bad person. I think he was misunderstood by a lot of people. I think people will grab onto sound bites that they don't agree with and just run with it, and they won't stop to think and be critical and say, okay, let me unpack this, let me learn more, let me give him a fair chance to explain himself. So that's my take on him. RIP. I feel he was a great person, and it's really sad what happened to him. So who wants to take that one?
Okay. Yeah, the clips, I don't find anything that he said in those particular clips wrong. Obviously, we're not going to be able to see every clip, and even if you see a clip, nowadays you have to watch the entire video
True.
to actually have context of what the clip is actually referring to. But in those clips, I don't think he said anything wrong. He would rather someone is hired for their competency rather than the color of their skin, for the merit of their work, things of that nature. And I do agree with him that DEI was made for a particular reason, but in practice, it doesn't necessarily work out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not in all cases, but it does happen. I think a lot of things he said when he was alive was point blank. Regardless of how you feel, there's not 99 genders. There's 2.
Yeah.
And there's men, there's women, there's male, there's female, there's boys, there's girls. We don't want a boy who grew up to be a man that changed to a or let's say transitioned to a woman to enter women's sports or bathrooms. I don't think there's anything wrong with him saying that. Just like I don't think there's anything wrong with a transgender person who believes that they're a woman saying, "Hey, I want to go into the women's bathroom because I believe I'm a woman." So I don't like it's like this weird, how can I say it? This weird intersection where you can understand both parties. One may hold a little more weight than the other. That's my thing. And I think from a scientific standpoint, that's the one that holds more weight for me, not just a feelings standpoint of I believe this. So, but again, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. I don't think it was right. I think it was an unnecessary, unjustified killing that literally could have been avoided. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, so I'm going to change gears a little bit because I think we're pretty much in alignment, saying this mostly the same thing. The one thing that I'd like to bring to the table right now is specific to the flag being brought to half mast in remembrance of Charlie Kirk, right? And I'm pulling this from an AI search here. The flag is to be placed at half mast for national and state mourning or specific days of remembrance, such as Memorial Day, Patriots Day, and the death of a president, vice president, Supreme Court Chief of Justice, or the Speaker of the House. All official,
Government titles.
entities or representatives, right? Exactly. There's somewhere in here that says, or the president has it's at his or her prerogative to lower the flags as they deem necessary as well, right? But what I propose is, because that can be used as a political weapon and weaponized in a way, because now you're representing someone on a certain side, right? Or someone that you agree with, as opposed to as a result of their service and in remembrance of their service to the country. So I think we as a country should probably take a look at that and maybe ask Congress to truly mark the lines of demarcation and when that flag should be lowered half mast, because that matters.
Well, I get you when you say it matters. And I think maybe for you, it's a bit more sensitive of a topic because you're military, right? I think the country in mass, probably it's not that significant for them. I'm not trying to diminish it. I think it is an important symbolic gesture of reverence and importance. And I think the president, he's fast and loose with stuff. Like he's trying to rename the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. You know what I mean? So like he don't play by the rules already. He just don't care. And that's just another example of, we're going to do a half mast. I don't care what the Constitution or whatever said, but I hear you, but he's fast and loose with it, man. He's going to do what he wants. I think it's only for this moment. Like if JD Vance runs and becomes president, I don't think that'll happen. He seems more level-headed to me. And I found out he's only 41 years old. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, he's young. Yeah,
he's a young guy. So that, which is crazy, but I think that's just a symptom of Trump not caring about rules and just thinking he's like a czar or something. Like he wants to be like Putin. You know what I mean? Like just full control. Don't question me. If you don't agree with me, you're fired. If you do, you're cool. Like that's just how he is. And Charlie Kirk, his body was flown back to, I think, his home state on Air Force Two, because JD Vance flew out because they were supposedly like cool or whatnot. So they take care of their own. So
that's my point.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
that's my point.
Hookup culture, like just like I got you. Using, because flying Air Force Two for that. I mean, we paid for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I get you.
Point taken.
It's happening. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. I think the day after it happened, I called my son, and he brought up the other two government officials that were murdered or something.
What?
Minnesota.
Did you guys? It was.
Yeah,
It
Minnesota.
was two.
The
Go ahead.
Democratic Speaker of the House of Minnesota and her husband were shot down.
Yeah.
About
killed?
Yeah.
It was,
Or
what was it,
deleted?
like a month
Sorry.
ago, Tremaine, or 2 months ago?
I didn't know.
Like I don't know, like the day before. I don't exactly know when, but he brought it up. But his case in point was you actually have an elected official and his spouse that was murdered, but the publicity of Charlie Kirk's murder outweighs them simply because of his status and or clout on social media is more prevalent. And I actually had to think about that. I was like, was there a half mast for that guy? No. And it's like, so I actually had to think of, and my son's brutal when he talks. He was like, so why am I going to feel? I mean, you guys heard the first thing when I had asked him that one question. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Nah, you are my mom." So when he talks, it's just brutal. And is that the fact check at the bottom?
Yeah, it was actually Democratic Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were killed in a targeted shooting on June 14th.
Keyword, they were Democrats. So
right.
And,
apparently
they don't matter.
I think the president was asked the question, why didn't they render the same honors for her and mostly for her? And he said because the governor didn't ask him to.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
I just found it interesting when my son brought it up, man. I was like, oh, okay. And my son was like, look, should I be more empathetic towards him than her? Like, she also had a family, and now the kids have no mother or father. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's that's just Trump being Trump, man. That's yeah.
My dog.
But I want to go back to the LGBTQ plus thing. There's so many letters.
Well,
there.
who out there shaking booty? Who out there shaking booty now?
What?
You said LGBT? Ain't nobody out there wiggling their booty? A man that just turned into a woman, he's twerking? What's going on?
I
Go
still
ahead,
don't
bro.
know
I'm
what you're
kidding.
talking. You lost me. Anyway,
Shit.
no, I just feel like change is hard. Like, I think so like I was watching this documentary about Adnan Syed. Are you familiar with that? This is a guy who was so there was a podcast named Serial that came out like 10 years ago, and it like blew up because it was about a real life murder case where this 18-year-old kid was sentenced to life in prison because he was convicted of killing this Asian girl in high school his senior year. But he was railroaded from the beginning by the state, and there was circumstantial evidence and false testimony and all this stuff. And
I'm sorry,
so,
what is it on?
this is on HBO Max.
Okay.
So it's called I don't remember the full name, but anyway, the podcast is Serial. It's very old, but there's been updates on his trial or on his case rather. And in it, he says that oh man, I lost my thought. But he's basically saying that it's hard to change. I'm trying to like compare what you were saying about LGBTQ and the fact that we as a society are unable to adapt to the changes that are taking place. So like having like a men's restroom, a woman's restroom, and then a transgender restroom, like we're just not there yet. Or having a third competition besides men and women, like just for transgender, like we're not able to change yet. And in kind to that Adnan Syed thing, innocent people the criminal justice system isn't prepared or isn't adapted to, okay, what if you are innocent? Like, how do we handle a case that is circumstantial, that maybe wasn't treated well? Well, we only care if you did it and if you're guilty. That we know how to handle. But he was saying in his 21 years of incarceration as an innocent man, he was constantly just denied any agency or any, just justice. And it was just only on the kindness of the Innocence Project, which is a nonprofit where these attorneys will
They're good.
Yeah, advocate for people who were wrongly convicted. And then he had an aunt who just wouldn't give up on him. His parents wouldn't give up on him. He had some old high school friends who were like, I know you weren't there. I'm your alibi, but the attorney who was working with you told me not to say anything. Like all this stuff. So like our system just isn't able to handle that. Still hasn't after 20 years. And so let alone, you know, LGBTQ rights and what to do with these people who have a right to express themselves, but we just aren't equipped at how to handle it. So there's a lot that we're not equipped on how to handle.
Well, I want to touch on what you just said, Jamal, because you're speaking about agency for a wrongfully convicted person that's actually in prison. I don't think the justice system would want to get to a place where it can be handled, because I think there would be so many people that should not be in there that was wrongfully accused that it would literally have one of the darkest stains on the criminal justice system. And because if they just look back at every conviction from murder to SA, sexual assault, harassment, things of that nature, let's say we're going from 100 percentile. Even at 20% wrongfully convicted, considering how many people have gone through the penal system, that's a lot of people, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the justice system to say we were wrong, we took the easy way out, the easy conviction. It's like the husband it's like when a wife is murdered, the first suspect is always the husband.
But here, I'm gonna push back a little bit on you because I'm already way ahead of you, Jermaine. So here's the thing. So as we move forward, and I'm gonna let you speak, Captain D. Hold on a second. As we move forward, technology improves, and the only reason, and newsflash, this is public knowledge. He was the sentence was vacated. He's free. He's out.
Okay.
Because in that 20 years, DNA technology has improved where, you know, before I think they only had like an educated guess on who touched her blouse or, you know, what DNA was on the blouse when, you know, she was found, you know, deceased. Whereas now they know pinpoint accuracy even after 20 years of degradation, right? So as we move forward, and now with AI coming out, we're going to be able to like reconcile all that stuff. Maybe we can't do it as fast today, but just like in his case where he was exonerated because this evidence was weak. It was weak back then. They just didn't have the technology to know it was weak, right? And just like today, people are getting convicted wrongly because of the limitations we have in technology today. Who says that's the same case in 20 years? You know? And this guy had a chance to be freed. All he had to do was say he was guilty. That was 4 years ago. He was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'd rather stay in here and maintain my innocence. And so to his credit, the evidence finally came to light and he was, you know, rightfully, you know, vacant. So anyway, I think as technology improves, that'll all get rectified and worked out. But you're right. In our current case, in our current status, it's way too much. And we're overwhelmed and they're overworked. I get it, but it's getting better. Go ahead, Captain D.
No, at this point, I think what I'd like to do is maybe shift gears a little bit and jump on the
why are you always shifting, man?
Because I think we're talking about something, and you're talking about technology, you're talking about murder, right? And just recently we had
all kind of crimes.
We had a murder that went viral, as a matter of fact. Charlotte train murder. A young lady by the name of Irina Zarutska, a young Ukrainian refugee, was actually traveling on a Charlotte train.
Stabbed by a black dude or something, right?
She was stabbed by a young black man. And if you watch the video, she was literally sitting right in front of him. He was right behind her. And something possessed him to pull out his 3 to 5 inch buck knife, open it, and literally you can see it on the video. And he reached right over her and stabbed her 3 or 4 times in the chest. one of which I believe may have pierced her heart because it looked like it was in the center of her chest, low center of her chest. But anyways,
You saw that video?
I did, sir, and it was traumatizing.
It wasn't blurred out?
No, I saw it. I saw it. Yeah.
They
And I
said the
tell
same
you,
thing about the Charlie Kirk video that you can see. Like it's on the internet.
I did. Yeah, no, what I saw in Charlie Kirk's video was everything right up
Up
to
into it. Yeah.
trans, bam. And then I didn't see anything else. But
Wow.
with this young lady's video, I saw the actual murder.
I wouldn't want to see that.
And yeah, bro.
Have
don't
they
watch
caught
it.
the guy?
Yes, as a matter of fact, immediately. As soon as he came off the train, she was stabbed 3 or 4 times in the chest. Literally looks up at the gentleman in complete terror, like what, in shock, like what in the world is going on? He gets up and just walks away towards.
I heard he
the
said
train.
something though, like I got her, I got that chick or something.
I can't tell you if he said or anything at all. Not sure. She sits there, and mind you, I think there were about 4 individuals surrounding her in the sense that they were in their chairs and did nothing for this young lady. She looks around. She all of a sudden kind of just leans over and falls right there in front of her seat. There's some kind of a barrier. I think it was the barrier to the, those trains have right in front of the doors. And as you're watching the video, I swear to you, the young lady, and I know this is kind of graphic for our audience, and I apologize, she bleeds out. I mean, it looked like something from the movie Scream. And I was, it was disgusting to see this. Come to find out, this gentleman that actually took her life and murdered her had a long rap sheet of criminal or a criminal past, and also had a long list of mental health issues. Was released maybe about a week or 2 by a judge.
16 times.
16.
Yeah. He had been incarcerated 16 times. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So the rap sheet was long. And obviously the mental health issues as well. So this is I guess I'm bringing this up because, we were talking about, violence or whatnot, but also, what do we need to do in our system to make sure that these, offenders that are, frequent flyers, don't get out there? Do we need a 3-strike rule? Do we need someone that has been marked as a mental health case or a mental health issue or an individual with mental health issues? Maybe we need a sign off from a psychiatrist or 2 that agree that, hey, maybe this one doesn't need to be out on the streets.
We have
that though.
We have a national shortage of psychiatrists. There aren't enough.
Yeah.
And we have therapists who lack the qualifications to really do the same level of work of a psychiatrist. So we're in an epidemic right now where mental health is being just like not being looked after. It's invisible. People don't see it. And so you don't see it, you don't care.
Absolutely.
But it's effective. I mean, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jermaine.
No, yeah. So go ahead, Jermaine. That's basically, me just kind of setting the table for the Charlotte train murder. And rest in peace, Irina Zalewska.
Yeah, I find it interesting that you said there were people sitting around her. Because you saw the video, I didn't see the video. Were there all men, women, mixed? Like, what type of people? And where did this happen?
It happened in Charlotte, in downtown Charlotte. Mm-hmm.
It was on a subway, a bus?
It was on a train.
Train.
Charlotte has a north-south train that most people use to kind of,
like a tri-rail type thing that's above the ground? Okay.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Tri-rail. Shout out to South Florida.
Yeah.
Look, man.
Took me
Look, I'm gonna say this. What's interesting, what I take from that is when you said no one actually helped or tried to lend a hand. She was stabbed multiple times. I didn't watch the video. So I don't know if anyone said, "Hey, that guy's hurting her. Hey, he's stabbing her." I don't know if anyone said something like that. But I think we've gotten to a point where there's been so many happenings from different points of view, like men with women not getting along, feminism, the manosphere, red pill. I think we're at a point where people are really saying you're on your own. Like, I'm not going to intervene. I'm going to get back to my family, regardless if me intervening will save your life, and I would be doing the right thing. I think nowadays there's a large group of people that will sit by, let things happen, and then just give a statement and go home, bro. I think that's where we are in America. Now, there's still people out there that will do things that are right. You know, if they see a woman getting beat up, they'll go try to stop the guy. And hey, sometimes I have to advise against that also, because I've seen that happen before. And the person that goes to help is now dead, and she's still with the dude who was whooping her yesterday. So you got to be careful with things like that. But I think so much attention has been brought to different spheres from an interpersonal dynamic between men and women, where men would actually sit there and watch a chick get beat up, watch a chick get stabbed, not intervene, and just take care of themselves and put themselves first, man. It's a crazy place we're in the United States, in the West. But
Yeah.
sorry for her,
Yeah. So
man.
it's
That's
almost like a conditioning, right? Have we come to the point where we just normalize it and we're okay with seeing that?
History is repeating itself because in Rome, you know what they did in Rome, right?
No,
What's
please
that?
tell us.
Watch gladiator battles.
Oh, yeah.
And murder
That
was
was
normalized, and yep,
a sport.
right.
And it was to get the minds of the people off the actual real topics of discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have to know our history. But here, I have a lot to say about this. So yeah, mental. I already talked about mental health and how we just aren't giving that enough attention, which is unfortunate. I don't see that changing anytime soon because, as a young kid who has a prospect of going to college being another topic we need to talk about because fewer people feel like it's even worth it anymore. Plus, they're getting defunded because if they don't. Speaking of free speech, if they don't fall in line with DEI, LGBTQ rights, and other things that the Trump administration deem appropriate, they're going to be considered other, and they're not going to receive their funding. And a lot of colleges can't survive without federal funding because they don't have endowments like Harvard or Yale and whatnot. So anyway, that's another topic. But oh, what was my point? So much to unpack. But anyway, I feel mental health, right? So I feel mental health is obviously a big concern there. But there are a lot of different types of people who get murdered every day. But I always find it interesting those who receive more of the spotlight than others. And I don't know if this is a racial thing or not, but it just seems to me that if it's a white woman, they
Big
tend
press.
to get the lion's share of attention. And I'm not trying to minimize this young woman's
I
death.
get it.
I'm not at all.
Mhm.
But I'm sure there are dozens of instances, not even dozens, hundreds of cases just like this that you never hear about.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to be honest about that. And as the news organizations, like, what's up with this? Like, you want DEI and you want to push this left agenda, yet you keep doing the same things of only covering a certain demographic of people, especially when it looks bad from a race standpoint where it's a black man deleting a white woman. There's been so much there's so much historical significance to propping up a white woman as like the most valuable person ever, putting her on a pedestal, and then making the biggest villain to her, the biggest threat to her, a black man. In this case, it just exemplifies and intensifies that old trope, that old stereotype, in a way that I think sets social justice back like 100 years. So
Yeah.
I think that's important to talk about. But I think I've said enough. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Mental health is an issue. The optics of journalism focusing on this story so much to the degree that it did, that's an issue. Um, and then the judge releasing them, I don't know if that's because, like we talked about earlier with Adnan Saeed in his case, if the criminal justice system is just overwhelmed and they just only have like a few minutes on each case and just push it on because they have like a docket of like 100 to get through in a day. That could be the case. In which case it wouldn't be entirely his fault or her fault, but it doesn't help. But as far as the bystanders go, yeah, I think we've trained ourselves to not get involved because no good deed goes unpunished. And for all
Yeah,
they
but
know,
let me stop you for a second, Jamal. But I know one thing, and I can say this unequivocally. I know for a fact, Jamal, if you were on that train and that happened, you
I would
would
have done
not just
something.
sit there.
I would
I
have
know.
blood, I would
And
have blood
Jermaine,
all over me.
exactly. And Jermaine, you too. I know
Yeah.
both of you.
I would have
done
held pressure
something.
on the wound. I would have given her CPR.
Yes.
I would have said, somebody get up, dial 911. I would have done
Yep.
something. Absolutely.
Yep.
I would have been
Yep.
covered. But
Mhm.
now that could be bad because witnesses will say, well, I saw a black guy do something. And here I am covered in blood.
Yeah, but the camera doesn't lie,
Bro.
right?
Listen. I'm
The
gonna stop
camera
you right there,
doesn't lie.
Renell. No. People believe what they want to believe. Seriously. It sounds crazy, but people believe what they want to believe. And this is gonna sound controversial, but I was actually relieved when Kirk's assassin was not black.
Oh God, yes.
I'm gonna
Oh
be
my
real
God.
honest with you. Like
Woo!
that may sound horrible to say out loud, but I was like, okay, whew.
Yes.
That's all we would need. Oh my God.
Another
Because it
curveball.
would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been.
Woo!
Yeah, 100%. And that is in alignment with the narrative, right? That
Yeah.
bad narrative that just continues to reverberate across the
Yeah.
country and just won't go away.
We don't need that negative press.
I find that interesting you said that, Jamal, because you just like instantly what popped up in my head is, you know what? There is a stereotype towards black people in their urban communities or the ghetto, however you want to phrase it, about black on black crimes. But then you have also the stereotype, which most stereotypes are actually based somewhat in some
truth.
type of truth.
Yeah.
But then you have the stereotype of, well, if you want to look at mass shootings and serial killers, they're almost always white.
Right.
So, yeah, I just found that interesting when you said that. There's only been like 2 recorded black serial killers. The DC sniper.
There's him for sure.
And like one other person.
I think there's one in like Cleveland, Ohio or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Has there ever been a school shooter that was black? There had to have been, right?
The Parkland guy wasn't. He wasn't white. I think he might be
Indian?
Hispanic or Filipino,
Spanish?
maybe. Yeah, he was something. But
So
he
we're
wasn't
not
white.
for sure if there's ever been a African American.
So I got a
school
list
shooter.
for you. So I did a little search, and some of the most prolific and well-known black serial killers include Samuel Little, considered the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history. He murdered across 19 states between the 70s and 2005. Confessed to 93 murders with over 60 confirmed.
70s to 2005.
Yes,
Damn,
sir.
And they never.
Yep.
That's a long fucking time.
Samuel Little. Then you have Lonnie Franklin Jr., the Grim Sleeper. This killer was responsible for the murders of at least 10 victims, primarily young black women in LA between
When they were
48
asleep?
and between 1948 and 2007.
Yeah, but
his case went unsolved for many years.
of course, because he was killing black people. No one cared. I'm just gonna be honest.
Dexter Turner, active for over a decade in LA. Turner was.
You said Chris Turner?
Yes.
Fucking with you.
What was Chris doing?
Chris out there taking. Jeez.
Stop it. Stop. Chester Turner, between killing 14 women between 1987 and 1998 through
All right.
sub-investigate. Yep.
Okay, so there have been a few.
We get it. We get it.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not helping the
several.
cause, Renell. You're not helping. Okay. Goodness.
So there are.
It's funny
two
you
was
don't
enough.
even hear about these guys.
2 was enough.
Well, yeah, but they're out there.
Yeah. Hey, fun facts. Hey, look, Raynell is on deck.
So I wonder
Oh,
if that's the
ahead.
opposite. Like there should be more coverage of black serial killers, and so maybe that's I don't know.
There's bad apples in every batch, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
could
true. That's true.
it is what it is.
Yeah, and wasn't the lady who was murdered on the train? She was an immigrant, Raynell?
Ukrainian, yes, sir.
Ukrainian.
It was
Wow.
beautiful.
She was?
Beautiful. Oh,
Yeah,
dear
she
Lord,
was.
yes.
She was attractive. Yeah,
She was
Yeah.
drop dead, and sheesh.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
You literally just said it. She was drop dead going to the
I walked into that one. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Anyway, thank you for pointing that out, Jermaine. All right,
problem.
so should we switch to something more upbeat?
Lighthearted.
A little bit.
Do you have something, or should I bring something out the woodwork?
No,
we
I
have
got
it right here.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I got something in my pocket. Hold on a second. In my as Captain D would say, in my bag of tricks.
Let's do it. Up your sleeve. Let's go.
Sure. All right, hold on. Let me pull up. This is about Druski.
Oh, we got a video to watch, or
Yeah, we have a video. You know who Druski
Nice.
is?
yeah, the little
I do
comedian, the fat guy.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me cue this.
Oh, I saw this one. He
Hold
actually
on.
looked white.
Here's the love. Here's the honor. If you can't come in her, come on her.
Hey!
Let's go.
Born in the USA. Woo! Born in the USA. Hey, Suanna. She's not listening. Hey, come on. You need to listen to your nana. Go ahead. Girl, you crazy now.
Girl, you crazy.
Hey, me, Ma. How you doing, baby? How you doing, baby? Good. All right, now.
Yo, this makeup artist deserves.
Hey, you lost, boy? No, I'm going to a race. What race? NASCAR race. You going to NASCAR? Yes, sir. A little bit. You ain't lost, did you? No, I'm good. I'm going to a race, sir. Sure about that? Yes, sir. Find something safe to do, boy.
He said, find something safe to do.
He said, find something safe to do, boy.
Wow.
So anyway, that's a black man in white face.
No, white body.
Yeah, it's
In
white
face.
body. And white conservative people lost their mind and were like, that's racist. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. Given that well, one, it's funny. Two, if anyone's seen Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr., he was in blackface the entire film, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So if done tastefully,
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine. And what they fail to understand, those who refer to Druski as racist, is that blackface, the impetus of that was in white supremacy, because the idea was that only a white actor could properly portray a black person. A black person couldn't portray themselves effectively in that art form.
Is that how it originated? The basis of it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like back in Edo, Japan, where it was a patriarchal society to the point where men would play women in theater because women were seen as demure and should not be seen or heard, even when it came to playing a part in a play. So men did everything
as themselves.
Yes. So it's just that same premise, but from a race perspective. So blackface was like, well, of course we have to do it because we can't let the black people do it. They're not smart enough to play themselves. We got to do it. So that's why it has a racist overtone of, you know, whiteface or blackface does. Whereas in this case, it's satire. And it's a black man spitting in front of other black people. Had to have been in on a joke. Because I would have had words with somebody if they did that to me. But then again, I'm not into NASCAR. That's a different kind of black people. Black people go to NASCAR. No, I'm just being honest. Like they're just different. But anyway, not in a bad way, just different. But anyway, I saw nothing wrong with it. So I'm curious what you think.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Please do.
I think there's a double standard when.
Whoa. Even with what I just said.
Yeah, even what you just said. It doesn't mean you may be right and there still be a double standard. It doesn't matter. Even with what you just said, I can see, and let me explain.
Please.
I can see why you said conservatives are white people in general.
White conservatives.
Okay. I can see why white conservatives may have some type of hesitation in or disdain or a bias to this video, because you're portraying a white person as a hillbilly, a trailer park, drinking beer, uneducated, spitting out tobacco, things of that nature. So I can understand, I can empathize and put myself in their shoes. Like, wait, if we can't play blackface, not saying it's right or wrong, if we can't do blackface, why are they able to do whiteface and portray us in a negative light to a certain extent, how they view it, even though others may not, in a negative light where we're just drunk at NASCAR, you know, born in a USA type thing. So I can understand why they would feel that way. Should they? That's a different story.
I think it comes down to ignorance and white privilege of not having to
that could be a reason
of not having to educate yourselves on the fact that blackface spawned from white supremacy, on the fact that as a race, black people have had to endure Sanford and Son, Good Times, and if we wanted educated, prominent black people on television, that was like, oh, no one's going to buy that. It wasn't until Bill Cosby pushed for the Cosby Show that actually came up. George, you know, the Jeffersons, same thing. So, you know, we had to fight for that right to be seen as equals, even in television. And then not only that, for a black man to kiss a white woman in a film or a movie, that was taboo for decades, right? So we've had to fight for the right to be seen as equals. And so I think there's a lot more history and a lot more baggage with the opposite. But now that we're at a place where we have the freedom to do it, they feel some type of way. But I think it's because they lack the knowledge, or they lack friends to educate them and fill that gap on the knowledge they're missing. But to your point about caricatures, and because I was ready for that, I actually have a video that kind of touches on how far-fetched was this Druski video. Well, we're about to see how far-fetched it was. Give me a second.
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, I seen the Druski white boy.
Oh shit, he looked like.
I noticed that he looks familiar. Can't quite put my finger on it. I've seen that guy before.
He probably ain't even upset.
I got the tits and everything. Look, Druski, on October 4th, I'm gonna be driving a demolition derby car in Bristol. I'd be honored if you'd come watch. For America, I'm up against like these Australians. And hypothetically, if you wanted to be in that derby, I have not cleared this, but I'm pretty freaking sure we could find you a car. I'm just thinking out loud here, baby. You can come out to my trailer if you want to. I got a camper down there running.
Okay.
I like
anyway,
that.
But here's my point. That's as Southern white as you get. And he was all about Druski coming out and participating in this thing. So this is what I mean. A certain subset of white people were upset.
Yeah.
But obviously, this guy understood the assignment. He knew what time it was. And so they're not all lost. and I'm sure he has black friends and understands, but I think it comes down to ignorance, is what I'm saying. But the shit was funny. And then the white people he was with at the NASCAR, they were not in on the joke. They did not know it was a black guy, which makes it even funnier.
Yeah,
They found out later.
I think that's a good second video you pulled up because I think it is good that you touched on it's not all white people.
No.
I don't like somebody like him, and I'm not gonna lie, as soon as you put him on, oh, he looks like him.
Yeah.
But he's in on the joke. He
Right.
understands. He's not taking it personal. He actually knows who Druski is. If he didn't know, he researched to find out who he was afterwards.
Exactly.
Okay, this is a comedian. No need for me to be in an uproar.
Right.
I don't have to have my feelings hurt and things of this nature.
Exactly.
If anything, he probably looked at it and said, wow, this black motherfucker look white for real. Because look, he looked white, bro.
He did.
He looked white. They put the tan lines on him.
Perfect.
For overalls.
Yeah.
But go ahead right now. I know you didn't go in on the last time.
No, you're fine. I think
are you gonna change
really
gears?
No, not changing gears this time. I'm gonna stick to this one. But I was gonna go in a different direction. I actually not even a different direction. I think it's hilarious. I didn't even know about this video. When did he do this, by the way? Like I didn't.
It was recent, within the last month or two.
Within the last month, it got 250 million views.
Jeez.
Wow. I had no idea. Yeah. Okay.
Blew the F up.
So yeah. Good for him. Lots of clicks. And I thought it was hilarious. He fooled me at first.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was a black
Have you
man.
seen the real him?
Yeah.
How he looks
Yeah.
like? Okay.
And I went back and I did a little Google search and I was like, all right, who is this guy? And I was like, oh my God. And like Jamal just said, yeah, Jamal, if you wouldn't mind bringing up his actual picture, his makeup artist was absolutely on point, phenomenal, did an amazing job. And I'm actually curious, did he do his entire body or just down to his, I don't know.
Probably to his waist because he had on long pants, overalls.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't, it doesn't even matter. It was great.
Yeah, it was amazing. Where I was gonna go with this though is guys, I have to tell you, I'm exhausted with all these race wars and race conversations and I'm just exhausted. I am so tired. I just want to sell all my shit and move to Colombia. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Because I have to tell you, when I'm down there, I don't feel racism. I don't feel
other.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like that checkbox exists, right?
Yeah.
I feel humanity. I feel love. I feel warmth. I feel acceptance. And those words.
They call that coochie right now. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Warmth, acceptance, love,
and just enough moisture. Then yes, I think that's
man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
no, it's good stuff. But anyway, that's the real Druski, black guy. Yeah, man, he killed it. Hats off to him. He did a great job.
Amazing. Yeah, and you take a look at this guy. Wow. Yeah, good for him.
That's like something that should have been on like the Chappelle show. Good skit.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
for sure. And Jamal, you brought up that last video. What's that video of the gentleman that looked just like Druski?
Yeah.
Kind of piggyback off of Jermaine's point. He came in and he didn't get butthurt about it, but you know what he did? He almost embraced it. He's like, yeah, God damn it, that's me. And
yeah,
good for him. That's hey man, that's what this country should be about, right? Hey, this person just went on Saturday Night Live, did a parody on me, and you know what? Take that as a compliment. Listen, you're out there.
I think people are just way too sensitive nowadays. Like you can't even like crack a joke. I mean, they're still talking about Will Smith and how he assaulted Chris Rock. That's still going on. Not the other day, but Matt Rife, he's a comedian. He got rushed on stage by somebody.
He did?
Yeah, I mean, security jumped in real quick, but I mean, it's like you can't say anything.
The hoes love Matt Rife, bro.
Yo, he's funny. He's funny though. He does great crowd work. But
he's funny off the cuff.
Off the cuff, yeah, he's real Yeah.
So let me pause you for a second because our audience is actually corresponding with us and they just jumped in. We have you handle behave just responded and said race is the dumbest thing to stress.
Oh,
Race or behave. If you wouldn't mind elaborating us,
yeah.
well, why do you think that?
I would like to know what that is because I think race is the backbone of everything. Everything. I think almost anything can go back to race, just because, just like what Charlie Kirk said in his in that clip I shared, it is a social construct. It really should not matter, but it has mattered for hundreds of years. You can tell that to the people in South Africa with apartheid. You can tell that to, I mean, us.
Patience.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
But I think I understand what Behave is saying also. Like, look, you can worry about this shit or you can push forward and forge your own path and prove the stereotype wrong. If I'm understanding what he's saying.
But do you know how hard that is to do? That's a lot of work. And that's putting work on the person.
And that's still stress.
It is stress. Like, I don't want to have to put my cape on with the S on my chest and say, hey, I'm a doctorate. I'm one of the good ones. Like, I shouldn't have to say that.
Yeah.
So Behave just responded again and he said, for the last 20 years, we all have the same opportunity.
Oh, okay. Behave's not black. Okay. Okay. That's all good though. Hey, we welcome that. Please bring your perspective because we are here to accept any and all. But
that's right.
Behave. Let me say this, Behave. I agree with you that we all have the same opportunity. It just takes sometimes other people have to go on different paths to reach that opportunity. And it's a little more
arduous.
The road may wind a little more than others. Let's say it like that.
So we can all get to the treasure, but some of us get there in a year, others get there in 5, others get there in 10 years. But you can all say, hey, but we all made it. Is that fair? I mean, I don't know.
So Behave responded and said, get over your own color. You're not either. So, all right. Behave.
I don't see that you're not either. Get over your own color.
Now, see, Jermaine, we were talking about this before about how if you don't like subscribe to a certain type of behavior, like to check a box, then you don't qualify as white or black or whatever. So, but this is the same thing. Unless you agree with me, nah, man, I'm not feeling canceled. That. Exactly. But it's all good. It's all love here, man. You know, you are more than welcome to share your opinion. It's all good.
Hey, Behave. I'm gonna say this. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you sending a comment.
Absolutely.
Keep it coming. If we agree, we agree. If we don't agree, we don't agree. We can still be cordial with whatever. Even if you make fun or you say something crazy, we're not gonna take it personal, bro. We're on the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Still throwing shots, but I love the passion.
What he said, Jay ain't black?
No, he's you ain't black either.
No, he put it right here. Jay ain't black.
Oh, shit.
Which Jay? Because there's two.
Yeah, it's RJ squared.
Wait, what's his name? Behave? Do you think you know who that is right now?
I think I know who that is.
I think I know who it is also.
I think I know who it is.
I'm going to say it like this. Jamal, look at that. Jay ain't black. And remember the story you told me about when you were younger with a certain individual.
What?
And Raynell was there.
Oh, is that who it is?
Is that who you were thinking it was right now?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, well then see, then they ain't changed then. See, there we go. Nothing's changed.
I'm gonna say this. Let me say it like this. If this is who I think it is, get your big ass up and get on the treadmill, man.
Exactly. Stay black, brothers. Okay.
You all right with me, but get your big ass up and get on the treadmill, man.
Oh,
hey, and I hope you're doing well.
Diggy Black is here. I'm talking about Jamal. Oh, okay. He's still shooting at me. All right, it's fine. It's all good. Well, it's Jamal. But okay.
Dig you black ass hill. I'm talking about dig you black ass hill. I don't know.
I don't know what that means. You spell check next time.
I'm talking about Jamal and then J Dog.
Yeah, it's got it out for
Oh,
me.
it's him. He said J-Dog. It's him.
Yeah,
I'm as
It's him.
black as you,
got me in his crosshairs.
It's him. But hey, good to see you, man. But where we at now? Where we at, Jay? Where we going
Always
to?
love. You see, Jam, he's sending you love, baby.
If that's love, I'm good. All right. Well,
All right.
what's
So we're
next?
gonna
Yeah.
shift gears because we got something else, Jam.
Oh, good. Yeah. What's up?
So keeping things light, actually moving to something that's even a little more lighthearted. Wait, glad to see you guys. Good. Okay. And then can't type. Okay.
All good.
So last week, young Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air, fellas.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you brought that up. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. And so I think this is a good opportunity for us to set the table and have a conversation about free speech, and corporate and government pressure.
Yep.
I believe he's been indefinitely suspended. I don't think he's been fired. That word fired has been used, but I think he's under suspension right now by Disney, if I'm not mistaken. But he is in the process of negotiating his comeback because it sounds like the company wants to bring him back. But from what I understand, they want him
Different
to,
show.
and I quote, lower the temperature. So my question to y'all is, where do we draw the line between free speech and pressure from other entities as to what we can and cannot say on air?
You want me to go first?
Please.
All right. Free speech isn't free nowadays. It's just not. No matter how people try to phrase it, you can be called anti-Semitic, you can be called racist, you can be called anything. Just free speech is not free. The higher ups will come for you if they deem or they feel that you're saying something that they're not on board with, regardless of how much free speech they say we have in this country. We don't, because if you can get canceled, there is no free speech. That's the bottom line. Now, I'm the type of person, and I know, and this is just me personally. This doesn't reflect Raynell or Jamal. When people use, so I don't really use the N word. You know what I'm saying? When black people use it, I don't care. When white people use it, I literally don't care because it doesn't affect me. I don't look at it in a negative manner. You can't change my temperature with the word that you use. Now, we can talk about should they use it and should they not use it, and that goes for anyone, black or white. That's something different. I'm just talking about my feelings, how I feel towards the word. If there is going to be free speech, you can't tell somebody what they can and cannot talk about. That it's not free speech. You know, if you can say fuck you to the police and shoot the middle finger, but that's black or white, but a white person can't say the N word and a black person can't say the C word, which, one is Negro, one is cracker. Cracker is more accepted from black people than the N word is accepted from white people. So there's always going to be a double standard with certain words, but as far as freedom of speech, I don't think corporations should come down. Now, they probably have some type of protocol, standard operation procedure, some things you can't say, which is understandable. You're actually working for someone. You can't go too far out of the bounds of what they deem appropriate. Like you can't walk by a chick and say, damn, she got a big ass. Yeah, that's not freedom of speech. That's just
That's harassment.
yeah, that's harassment. So there's different things. But as far as protest, being able to speak your mind, being able to go online and voice your opinion, that free speech isn't as free as what we think it is. Go ahead.
So let me give you, because I failed to give you the actual context of what he said, and then we can proceed.
Yeah, and I don't know what he said
either. Yeah, so he said something to the effect of the MAGA gang were desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them to score political points, something to that effect.
Right.
is what he said.
Right.
Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah.
That's possible. They probably did. Shit.
They probably did, but I don't know if he was right or wrong. But for him to get canceled over that, I think it's ridiculous and it's an overextension of their power. That being said, I definitely want to comment on what you had to say, Jermaine, because yeah, I think when people think of free speech, they feel it means anything, but words carry power, and words can be deemed as an assault. So I think, like, for example, if you radicalize for the sake of violence, like if you're a white supremacist and you speak out against other minorities or other ethnic groups in a negative way, I don't think that should be protected under free speech, because the intent behind it is violence, is oppression, and that should be
Hate speech.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how you deem it, hate speech. Okay.
exactly. So I do believe people should express themselves, but they should also express themselves and comport themselves in a manner that maintains safety and civilized behavior in the society. We all have to agree to abide by laws and to tolerate our differences, right? So it's free speech-ish, okay? And so if someone were to use the N-word, and here's the thing about the N-word that a lot of non-Black people don't get. There's the term of endearment version that you hear in hip hop and and in rap. And then there's the correct. And then there's the crack a whip. Right. There's this crack a whip, pick cotton version.
The hard R.
Hard R. So when I'm with my people, that's one thing. But if you're saying it to me, that's another.
Under the pretense of demeaning you.
Yes.
Okay.
So context, right, and culture and community play a part in that word. And so there's a lot of layers to it. But it's more difficult for someone who's not locked into that culture to say it and it be accepted and to say you get a pass.
Let me ask you this, and I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No.
Because I like what you're saying. So let's say someone in that culture, but they're not Black, they're white, but they grow around in the urban community their entire life, nothing but Black.
I know.
Are they okay to use the N-word in a terms of endearment manner?
So
because this is the slippery slope.
It's very slippery. And my answer, you're not going to like it. It's yes or no.
Okay.
Because the people who grew up with him will likely give him a pass.
Mm-hmm.
But the world at large, they don't know him.
Whip his ass.
They don't know his history. And so then it's the reverse of me having to prove I'm educated and that I'm well spoken to. I can't do that. Either you accept me or you don't. He can't
you
prove
know who's
himself.
a prime example of that, Jam? Is our friend that just spoke to us just now.
Why are we bringing
in
him
the
up?
chat.
Anyway, okay, let me make my point, man.
But that's a good. But he is a prime example of someone that actually used.
He should never
term.
say the N-word around me. We'd have a problem.
Right, but he got that pass from us when we were kids, though.
Did he?
Well. I can't say that. I can't say I gave him. I don't think I ever heard him use the word. I'm gonna say this: if I gave a pass to anyone, if I gave a pass to any white person growing up, I know the two people I gave it to: Darren and Mike. That's it.
Yeah.
If I ever gave that pass to anyone.
So anyway, I've touched on radicalizing violence and disturbing the balance of peace and civility, right? So there's that. That should not be spoken out freely. There should be consequences for that because you're threatening our livelihood and our way of life. All right. So there's that. But then there's also in the context of culture and family and friends and that space too, and what's comfortable and acceptable in your culture. But then if you aren't a part of that, how saying that is not deemed appropriate. But now let's say an onlooker, right, either through media like hip hop or film or watching videos, they want to see it, or they bought an NWA tape back in the day. And they're saying, and they're going, rapping with Eazy-E, and they're saying it in their bedroom.
No harm, no foul.
And then they come out and they want to say it, and they don't understand why they're getting like side eye, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, why can't I say it? And the thing here, and this is my thing, because I've been asked this by, I'm just going to use the example of white people. They're like, well, why can't we say it? I'm not racist. I don't mean anything. I'm just.
They're always inquisitive about that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I just want to rap along with the lyrics like you and everyone else, and I'm gonna say this, and this is what I always say. I'm like, why do you want to be allowed to say it? Because for so long we've been oppressed as a people, and we took that negative word, made it something positive that we use to express our pain and our struggles and what we go through as a people. And it's really meant for us. You have so much more than us. And we finally create this thing, and now you want to say it and be accepted. Like, can't we have something? Like, can't it just be ours? And then they're like, okay, I see your point, right? That's my answer.
But so my question to you, that's amazing. I love what you just said. But at what point do you draw the line and say, this person can say it, but this person cannot? So I'll give you an example. Young Raynell is 10% black. You go back and you look at my DNA.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say it?
Now, from an optic standpoint, no, because you don't look black. That's not fair. No, it's not fair.
I am. But I'm 10%.
I understand that, Renell, and it's not fair. And but that's the way we are. We go by visual. If you don't look like us, you're not us. Period. End of story. But I'm gonna say this. So, like, let's say they're a group of women and they're going out, and they're in the high heels and they're going to the club or whatever. And one of them says to the other, "Bitch, you look good." Right? Now, let's say they meet up with a couple guy friends, and one of the guy friends says, "Hey, yo, bitch, you look good." He said the same exact word.
Yeah.
But different
delivery.
Different groups, different context. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. And shout out to Ta-Nehisi Coates. He said all this in a lecture he gave at a university, breaking down the N-word and how it's not for white people. And that was his justification. That's the example he gave. It matters about the culture and the context. You can't ignore that. It carries a lot of weight when it comes to what you're allowed to say.
I'm surprised you didn't include person, culture, context, in person, because just like the man with the women going out, oh, bitch, you look good with the man. Now you have the opposite gender, so it could be construed as negative. That's what I'm just saying. No, just because the way you think, I'm like, oh, I'm surprised he didn't say person with that also, because that was a good analogy you gave.
Yeah, but that's a fair point. So, but anyway, so obviously, as a man, I can't call a woman a bitch, even if I mean it as a joke. It will not be received well. But within their group, they can say it. So anyway, I think, yeah, go ahead.
I have to say something, Jamal. How long have I known you?
In what?
You've known me for over 20 years, man.
No, longer than that.
Actually, you're right. It is longer than that. Maybe 30. Yeah. Oh, shit, we're old.
Really?
At least 30 years.
At least 30 years, yeah.
30 plus years, right? I've never heard you use that word. Ninja.
Oh, I've used it. But
I've never heard me personally. Yeah, I've never heard you use that word.
And that's fair, because I think I have to code. I feel I have the code switch, and maybe I shouldn't. But well, one, I don't know that you'd feel comfortable with me saying it. And so no, seriously, that's just an assumption I have. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
you're wrong.
Okay, all right. Well, now I know. And this
I've
isn't
used it. It's just not. I think he's used it. It's just not part of his everyday vernacular.
Now, J-Dog or Mr. Happy Hypocrite, I've heard him use it.
I've used it before. Well, I'll say this. If you take every day of my life and put it in a percentage base, I probably used it less than 2%.
I'm probably at 10%.
Wow.
I don't really use it that much, but
so you'll use it in certain company.
I'll definitely use it in certain company. I've learned, so as a black man in a predominantly white profession, I've learned to code switch. I have to switch how I say, what I say. It is what it is.
Your N-word turns to dude when you're out. Dude, what?
Yeah.
Bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Or bro.
Yeah.
Bro. Right. Instead of, when I'm with my cousins and they're shooting dice or whatever they do,
playing spades, drinking, you're like, well,
all that.
Let's break it out.
Exactly. You just have the code switch. It is what it is. And we were talking about how it's not fair for me to have to work harder to do this, because white people don't have to do that. Or I'm assuming maybe they do. I don't know. but I feel like I can't be my authentic self because it's going to be looked at as like, huh, okay, that's odd. I thought Jamal was, whatever. So, but there are plenty of black people in my position who feel that pressure and have to do that. It's just,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It's literally part of the game. But
It's
you know
the
what?
game. Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe this isn't something that Behave ever had to go through.
Oh, well, I know it isn't.
So, even though, like Renell said, he may have come up with the majority people, or at least half of the people around him being of the darker persuasion, but has he ever had to walk into a grocery store and then look back and see the guy behind the counter going like this, looking at him walk down the aisle and things of that nature? So
Right.
it's just different lives lived,
Exactly.
different experiences.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of our podcast, is just to help share our experiences and,
Yeah, I think also it's region of the country that you're brought up in, right? And back in that time, I think we were brought up in, in South Florida, and South Florida is absolutely polar opposite to North Florida. If you
To
really
Wellington,
think,
at least back then.
yes. So back then, I mean, if you look at our circle of friends or whatnot, I mean, it was a mixed bag, 100%.
It was a mixed bag. I'm surprised we all got along, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But
you know
here's
what?
the
I
thing.
really didn't feel like during high school, I really didn't feel any racism whatsoever in high school. Bro.
I didn't feel
Exactly, me
racism.
neither.
Although I will say this, there were a lot of inappropriate jokes that would not fly today.
Oh yeah,
who used to always
I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like using the H word. You guys. Okay, yeah.
Oh.
So anyone, I think we used to always use the word Haitian in a negative context.
Most people
back
did
then.
back then.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But the word itself isn't bad. It's just the
It
meaning
isn't, but I didn't
behind
want
it.
to say it. But I
Oh,
did.
I see what you mean. Well,
Right.
But okay. So I'm glad you brought that up, Renell, because I think, and this just goes back to ignorance. There's a lot of ignorance when it comes to the Haitian people and what they were put through. They were the first enslaved, what's the word? Enslaved colony, I guess you can call it, to overthrow their colonizers and declare independence. And I think they were the only ones to do
They're the
that.
only, yeah.
They were the only ones to do that. But
They really fought back.
They did, and won. There were 500,000 enslaved people at the time who fought back against the French colonizers and won. And ever since, they have been punished for that. Ever since, they were thrown into debt. They were cut out from meaningful trade to build wealth and be truly independent from a trade and commercial standpoint. And it was to the point, and then the United States got in on it and started just like looting and plundering their shit too. So they never really had a chance. And so, of course, after all the natural resources on the island have been plundered to death, where now nothing can grow, now you have earthquakes and mudslides, and there's all this violence and whatnot. Billions of money have been poured into aid to get Haiti back on track, but the damage has been done.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And so when they came to South Florida during the 80s and 90s, yeah, they didn't have the same quality of life that we did. So, they weren't accustomed to bathing every day, right? They had to eat certain things that were available to them that we might look down upon because we had it better. But we didn't get that script. We didn't get that backstory. All we know is where are all these people coming from who don't speak the language, who don't seem hygienic, like hygienic by our standards, and have these odd tastes in food. Yeah, they were treated, but we didn't know the backstory behind why they got to that point. And so we judged them, and it was unfair and it was wrong. And I played a part in that, but it was in my personal ignorance.
Guilty as charged. Yeah,
absolutely.
One of my best friends, Joe, man, like I never saw him as Haitian. I just knew him as Joe. But it's funny, once we got older, he was like, why I was so popular with my Haitian friends? Because I had you as a good American friend, and they didn't have that. They were like, yeah, and I just found that interesting.
You gave him agency.
Yeah. Later on in life, I was like, wow, I never even thought of it that
But
way.
that's
But me
also
and Joe were so
sad.
close.
That's sad that it was like that for him. He had to have a good American friend in order to be accepted or brought up.
No, not to be
And
accepted, just that he was looked at more as a pillar of inspiration of like, hey man, I want to be not American. I don't think maybe back then Haitians wanted to be more American. Now they're just Zoe.
Yeah, they
give
don't
a
care.
fuck. Like,
Yeah,
they don't
Yeah,
care now.
yeah,
But
yeah,
back
yeah.
then, people used to say, oh, they eat cat, like they
Yeah.
don't bathe, like
Yeah.
Jamal was saying and shit like that. So they just didn't want to be looked at
Right.
from that point of view.
Right.
And
Yeah.
obviously their customs were different. Because remember, I mean, in the 18th century, bathing was only done like once a week, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Twice a week.
Yeah.
Your skin was supposed to be oily. You weren't supposed to
Yeah.
wash all the oil off your skin. Now people take showers every day. So
Right.
they were still living in a different day and age, man.
Exactly. And then the same time you had Cuban refugees coming over.
Yeah.
They were treated differently.
Yeah.
They were facts. Like they were just red carpet was rolled out. And now Miami will only have a Cuban mayor. Only.
So let me put you guys on pause real quick. I'm getting offline recommendations here from one of our viewers. Oh my God, great topic, you guys. Need a call-in show. You guys are being really hypocritical. It's unreal. I wish I had a shot.
Who is that?
What do you think?
Hypocritical.
Oh, that was Behave?
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't he just put the text?
I don't know, man. I just work here.
He just worked here. But yeah, hey,
Anyway.
man. But what was the original point?
We were
of
talking about
contention or
Jimmy
concept?
Kimmel. I don't know how we ended up there, but we were talking about Jimmy
Oh,
Kimmel.
just
because you said
freedom of speech.
H word. Haitian.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah,
Well, I
so
think
that's
it's
how we-
relevant because it's still like ostracizing people who are different. And Jimmy Kimmel had a different opinion, and MAGA didn't like it, and MAGA did what MAGA does. You know,
I think both sides do the same thing. I can understand what people say MAGA did what MAGA does. I just think
But-
both sides literally play the same game. It's just
Do you really? I think if they do
Yeah.
play the same game, I think one side is more overt about it.
I think the left
Whoa.
is more overt.
Yo, the left, someone just got killed. Now, we may not claim him, but he did what he did in the name of progress, I guess, or whatever. But I want to talk about that. A lot of people want to find a reason behind the actions that people do, like the man on the subway station who murdered the lady, or this guy for killing. Shoot, I keep doing that, for deleting Mr. Kirk. We may not find like a real, like a satisfactory answer. People are just gonna do.
He said it himself, right? With he said he was spreading too much hate, and I quote.
That's again. Listen, Socrates said it best. There are two universal truths. There's wisdom and there's ignorance. You can distill everything down to those two basic things, and that's just more ignorance. Because that's why I shared the clip in the beginning. Now he didn't get everything right. There were some things he said wrong. Like he said once that there's no child starvation in the U.S., which I don't think that's true. I think
There
there
definitely
are kids.
is.
Yeah, I think there are. But he was like, there shouldn't be free school lunches for kids. There
should not be free school lunches.
Yeah. He says,
aren't those
said
lunches paid for by tax?
That's what he said. And so that's just an example of something he said. And I'm like, Charlie, you need to go back and do your research, because there should be. Yeah, there should be free lunches, because he's thinking everyone who's born in this country has the opportunity to pay for basic human rights. That is not true. You have homeless people who are homeless for a multitude of reasons. You have children who are malnourished for a multitude of reasons. And regardless of our innate desire to live and survive as people, we may not always have the resources to do so. We just don't, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't agree with everything he said, but I will say I agree with a lot of it, man. I'm not I believe in a nuclear family. I believe that if you do your best, you can achieve your goals. I believe that you can choose to take the right path and not be a follower. I believe you do have. I believe in equal opportunity, but when I say I believe in equal opportunity, it may take a little more for some people to get there. So I'm not
Agreed.
naive to the fact that, like, oh, um, I'm gonna be able to get to the same place just as soon as a family that has generational wealth in a name in a large network circle
Right.
will. I can still get to Yale, but I may have to do it a different way. I
Right.
need a 4.5, plus I need AP credits, plus I need
Hmm.
college credits, plus I need references from my congressman or my
Right.
mayor. Like, it's just different.
Whereas someone else is just a legacy,
Yeah,
and they just get in because their dad and their grandfather. Yeah, exactly.
with a
No,
3.8. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? I had a
Per,
4.5.
perfect example. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, yeah,
Jamal, did
yeah.
you see the cut, man? You saw the new cut?
Holy shit! What you doing?
You saw the you saw
What are
the
we
new cut?
doing? We going back to high top fade?
Hey, man,
Everything's going retro now. They're bringing back cassette tapes and CD
baggy
players.
pants.
Yeah, everything's going back. It comes full circle.
So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm still gonna let because it was on my ear, man. I was like, every day I was like, I thought something
Yeah.
was on my ear.
Hmm.
So I think I'm gonna keep this here, but I think I'm gonna go back into a mohawk, but have it not nappy but curly. You know what I'm saying? Because my hair is super soft already, but I
Yeah.
definitely don't want dreads again. But I
Okay.
realized, like, having a low haircut, I got to get it cut like every 2 to 3 weeks, and they're
That's
charging
true.
like $35 nowadays.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
let
paid
this thing grow.
25. It is it's not it's a far cry from in the 90s where it was like $8 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because remember, my
Uh,
father used to take us when they still had the candy cane thing on the outside of the barber shop.
oh, throwback. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. So, Renell, what else you got, man?
So I kind of want to push back a little bit on what you guys are saying with Mr. Kirk because I'm looking at some of his beliefs, right? And
Uh-oh.
although I do support some of the video, the clip that you had,
Hmm.
I don't find anything in that clip to be egregious. But then I do a little research and I look at his thoughts on Islam, for example. He called
Okay.
Islam a danger to the United States, railing against what he saw as the religion's conquest values that seek to take over land and territory. Last time I checked, Islam is a peaceful religion.
It's a very peaceful
Um,
religion.
so
Very
I don't
peaceful.
agree
So
with that.
so this just goes back to yeah, right. I think
I think he was
I
speaking of the radical Islam, but
I was gonna say that. Yeah, he's thinking of radical Islam and he's not being specific in his
But
words.
when you use Islam,
I know.
you
You're including
yeah,
everyone.
that's
I
a
know.
problem. That's
but
like saying
people
all
people
black
use
folks are bad.
Americans. People use Americans, and they use the radical Americans in different countries. They do the same thing. But go
Here's
ahead.
what
I'm
you,
sorry.
here's what you got to
Two
understand about
negatives.
Charlie Kirk.
This is not algebra.
He
Go
well, no,
ahead.
no. Here's what you got to understand about Charlie Kirk. He dropped out of college because he, for whatever, I forget the reason, but he did not finish school. Oh, I know why. Because he felt colleges indoctrinated people to fall in line with their philosophy, and he
I
didn't want to
believe
do
that.
that. He didn't want to adopt um, a school's philosophy in order to get ahead and get a degree and do that. He wanted to do his own thing, and he's obviously a very outspoken, independent thinking person, right? But he's young. When he passed, he was 31. And I think he
Yeah.
had a lot of maturing and growth to do because it's clear
That's fair.
it's clear from how he speaks and the people he's around that he was siloed and didn't really have a diverse group of people around him. So I give him a pass because I think his heart is in the right place, but he had room to grow because if I've been to Islam, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Cairo, I've been to Luxor. Those are where Islam is the predominant faith. And every person I met could not have been kinder because in Islam, you have to like when there's a foreigner or someone who is in need, to be in line with
The
Muhammad's teaching,
teachings,
you have to
treat them
show
like a
grace
relative.
and kindness to that person.
Mhm.
That is like a a very well-known and always practiced tenet in Islam. You have to do that, or you're seen as not. I do not want to butcher the word, but you're seen as a certain word, which is bad. So anyway, he
Around
probably did, I don't know, but he probably didn't even know that, right?
Infidel. Mhm.
No, it's not quite that bad. Infidel's like something way worse. But anyway, my point being, my point being, he probably didn't even know that. And so all he sees are the radicals who, want to have their 21 virgins in heaven, so they're not afraid to like go out in glory. Like that's not the majority. That's like 1% of the the Islam or the Muslim people, right? And they're outliers. But you have that in every major religion. These fanatics, you have that in Christianity.
So another problem I see with his beliefs was that he basically said that climate change is not real. And to me,
well, hang on, Reno. So let me say this, Reno.
He's just visiting.
I don't think we should phrase it as a problem with his beliefs. They're just his beliefs, because not everyone has the same beliefs. It doesn't mean that your beliefs are a problem or Jamal's or mine.
Yeah,
it's just,
but science is science, right? 1 + 1 = 2. Would you agree?
Okay,
So,
well, let me ask you this. What have you seen from a scientific standpoint that says there's definitely a climate crisis?
Go, Renell.
North, if you look up in the Arctic, you look at the glaciers that are actually
scientific findings, not looking. What scientific findings have you read up on that says it's definitely a crisis? Not saying there isn't. I don't know. I'm just saying most
I will
people
give it to
just
you.
jump on board.
Do you need an assist, Renell? Because I can give you an assist.
Go ahead. I'm going to pull it up for you because I don't have it.
All right. Ever since the proliferation of fossil fuels, we've seen an exponential increase in the global temperature. Okay. So you might say there's a correlation. I say there's a causation. Now, correlation means, well, they just happen to happen at the same time. That's
coincidence.
That's what Charlie Kirk and his group are saying. That's just, because we've had ice ages and we've had, ages where the temperature's gone up. And this is just a normal cycle of the earth. But I personally believe with the burning of fossil fuels and the fact that in Delray Beach back in 1988, it would actually get cold in December. And now it's like a light cool. And there are only more cars and more air conditioning. Like that's really rapid.
So there's also farming, right? Farming is also adding to that. Then you just mentioned rising global temperatures, more intense heat waves, warmer oceans. Warmer oceans create what? More hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
Extreme weather, severe droughts, floods, fires. You look at all the fires out in California. I think it was like a year ago, we had that crazy fire out in the LA County area. So it's there. It's all there.
I'm gonna give you one more. Remember that hole in the ozone that everyone was freaking out about?
Yeah, down in by Brazil.
Well, it's further. It was over Antarctica. And do you remember acid rain?
Yes.
Acid rain was a predominant issue in the 70s, and that had to do with industrial runoff from these large manufacturing companies in the Northeast, where they would just run off into the ocean. And so then that ocean water would then, through the water cycle, get brought up into the clouds and then would rain back down on people. And it would cause all this corrosion and people were getting cancer and all this stuff. And so then the federal government had to come in and say, hey, manufacturers, y'all need to stop dumping these chemicals into the ocean. It's causing acid rain. So that was a climate effect that happened due to industrialization. We had regulation come involved and it stopped. No one talks about acid rain anymore because it don't happen. Same thing with CFCs, those chlorofluorocarbons, right? We cut that shit out. Okay, now we use natural refrigerants. Now we even use carbon dioxide as a refrigerant. And ever since, that hole in the ozone layer has been steadily shrinking. So we see how man's footprint in industrialization has impacted the climate on a global scale. We've seen that. But yet, when it comes to global warming, they're like, nah, that's different. Why?
Exactly.
It isn't different.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. But because you're in the pocket of big oil, okay, it doesn't coincide with what you need to get done for the bottom line. That's what it is. I think he's wrong, but again, he was young. He had room to grow.
And guess what? He can believe whatever he wants to believe. That I'm not saying he
because
can't.
when he was right,
so-
he was right. But when he's
Yes.
wrong, I'm like, nah, dude. You need,
you're
you
wrong.
need to cook a little
Yeah.
longer. But you know, it's
Exactly.
fine. Yeah.
We got
'cause
another message.
Oh,
yeah, we
Inksy.
got Inksy. Hey guys, you're making great points to get people thinking. Thanks, Inksy.
All right, you're one of us, Inksy. You're an official RJ Squared member. Boom.
Oh, that was a jab.
I don't care.
Well, that was veiled.
Whatever.
All right.
No.
Do you guys know who that is?
Have no clue.
No, I have no idea who that is.
But they agree with us.
That's right.
I'm just being a contrarian.
That was my birthday date.
That's right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
You had to think about Jamal.
Happy belated birthday.
Jamal had to
Happy
think about
Hypocrite.
I had to think about it. Yes. All right. Well,
Thank you,
all
though,
right
Darwin.
then. Yes, absolutely. Appreciate that. All right. So, Jermaine, did you have anything to rebut, or we good? Well,
No,
you
man.
can,
I think
you can say
look,
we're wrong.
No. I'm not going to say you're wrong because I don't know for sure or not. I was simply saying his beliefs are his beliefs. Not everybody beliefs are right. Not everybody beliefs are wrong. But I do believe what Jamal said. Hey, sometimes when someone is emphatically wrong, you should be able to say they're wrong. You're not right. Study up,
Right.
learn this, etc. What I brought up was scientific findings, just to say everything that was brought up today, causation, correlation, things of that nature, it's understandable. But if we're going to go off one specific thing as far as creating some type of template to go by from a scientific standpoint, I do think it just can't be, I feel, and I've seen this happen. This is what happened with the runoff and the acid rain, things of this nature. And I'm not saying the findings aren't out there. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I'm just saying when people talk about these things, it helps to be a tad bit informed, just like how Jamal said he was young. I mean, he's almost 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and I probably know less about global warming than him. Oh, what I did want to say, I think with high profile people such as Charlie Kirk, I think sometimes they know the truth, but they dance around it for clicks. Because I will say this, I don't think he was a stupid person whatsoever. I think he was
No.
intelligent, like really intelligent.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things he chose to overlook to make his points deem
It's kind of like
more.
the COVID shot, right? The COVID-19 vaccine, right? I guarantee you, if you ask members of Congress or any officials up there that are, anti-COVID-19, they probably have 1, 2, 3 applications of the shot in their medical record. But they say to the contrary in public. So that goes to your point, Jermaine, about, saying one thing and believing another.
Yeah. And I've never taken a shot. Any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never. Never. Yeah. Look, and I believe COVID is real, even though they don't really talk about it anymore. But I believe COVID is real. I just don't believe that a vaccine. So this is what I took from it. Let's backtrack. What I took from the vaccine when it first was introduced, it's going to allow you not to catch COVID. But to my understanding now, it just increases your immune system. Am I correct by saying that? Or it helps your immune system to fight off the actual virus?
As the licensed healthcare person,
our science guy.
Go ahead.
Spent 6 years in pharmacy school. Let me help you out here. So the way a vaccine works is it introduces mostly inert. You can have 2 types of vaccines. You can have live and you can have attenuated. Live is when they're alive, but weakened, right, to elicit immune response. And you can have attenuated, which is they're just chopped up in these little bits, right? But in either case, the idea is that once it's introduced to your body, your immune system, your memory T cells will gobble them up and take them to your main source of immunity and remember them so that when you do get that virus or come into contact with that virus, they know exactly what it is and can minimize any damage that it will do to your body. That is the basic premise of vaccines. It is to boost your immunity because we found out that there are 10 to the power of 10 different combinations of foreign substances that can elicit an immune response. And we're born with like a lot of them, but not all of them. And so that's where vaccines come in to fill that gap. And when COVID morphed from animal to human, obviously that was something our body did not have in its memory to know, to recognize and fight against. And so with the help of the vaccine, that can help us stand a chance to not get as sick. That is all a vaccine does.
Okay. So it helps fight the actual disease or virus once it actually introduces itself to you.
Correct.
But the vaccine, simply put, is a minimized virus. Like, hey, this is what it look like. Be ready when it comes, and you're going to be able to fight it. Not more clearly, but you'll be able to
more effectively. Yes.
Fight it more effectively.
Yes. Yes. You know what's coming, and when it comes, you have the key to unlock it to kill it. However, the immune system.
But yeah, I never took it. But yeah, I never took a shot. Just to go back to it. Yeah.
So I actually wrote that down as a potential future show: vaccines, CDC, and that's a good one. That's an actual hour-long show.
Jamal ain't trying to do that shit. He do that shit every day,
bro.
Jamal, you look like an artist up there. Come on, man.
Hey, that boy sounded like Kirk Franklin,
I know, right?
On the bullshit. Like,
this is my FAMU education.
Yeah, for real. Listen, man, vaccines are the reason why we don't have more viral outbreaks. It's right, smallpox, measles. You know, it matters, and there's herd immunity, meaning that when you have more people who are vaccinated, those who are not vaccinated are actually enjoy the benefit, because if they are sick, they're not going to pass it to anyone else, and they're less likely to well, anyway, that's the main benefit. But anyway, it's a proven science. I think there's a lot of misinformation about vaccines, and it's not about the vaccine, like the active part of the vaccine itself. Instead, it's about the process by which the vaccine is made. They give people pause, like the delivery system of it.
Well, I got a question for you, Jamal. Since you're in this sphere, were you apprehensive when they first introduced the vaccine as quickly as they did?
No,
and why
not at all. Well, no, I don't just blindly follow science, because people can fuck up. So, you know, there's that. But
they did have trials, though. I will say that. So they had enough for me. I felt they had enough trials to the point where I felt comfortable for myself to go out and actually get a shot. Now I
didn't even know
boosters.
That.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense right now, but what's the average length that it takes to make a vaccine for some type of disease? The average length of time.
I don't know. I have no clue.
So
we don't know.
I know that.
To my understanding, it was like almost 10 years to make a vaccine.
Yes,
and I could be wrong.
Actually, no,
that's why.
Right.
That's why I think people were apprehensive when it came out. Like a year, you have a vaccine, where other diseases take like 7 to 10 years to make a vaccine.
Well, here's the thing. One, we didn't have 10 years, and we saw people were getting violently sick to the point of, and even those people who did recover, they still have like symptoms that are chronic that are going to be with them forever, right? So the way I looked at it was this, you know, either we don't take it and we catch it and have issues, or we do take it and kind of like
give ourselves a shot.
Yeah, like take it into our own hands and decide on our terms. Okay, what are we going to do and how are we going to handle it? And that's a personal choice. But I feel confident enough in the FDA more so than the CDC. The CDC is kind of a shit show, but the FDA, when it was approved, because they're stringent, they're stringent about all sorts of stuff. So once that happened, I was like, okay, they must have checks and balances in place. I'd rather us have a shot, literally and figuratively, to beat this. Now, I never got sick. I never got it. I'm one of those rare people who I guess just had a natural ability to thwart it off. But my oldest son and my wife at the time both tested positive, but this was after the shot and had no symptoms.
Me too. I tested positive.
I actually had it twice.
Felt like I do right now.
Yeah. Okay. So but that just goes to show there's so much variance in it. Like it's not a one size fits all. And that's part of the problem, because you'll have some people with these anecdotes who'll say, oh, well, my friend got the vaccine and then they got really sick and
died.
Had all these. Right. And so, but that's the thing with medicine. Like, you have to understand, it's not an exact science, because you have this cookie cutter product that isn't going to always work the same in every person. And I think we take that for granted. So, and thing,
I mean, and that's the small print, right? Hey, there may be side effects.
Just like all these commercials, how they just run down the, and no one ever thinks it's going to happen to them. But when it does, thanks to social media, it gets blown the F up out of proportion. But from a government and federal standpoint, you got to think, hey, I'm trying to save as many people as possible. If that means we break a few eggs, we're going to break a few eggs. But we need to move on past this as a human race. So it's a numbers game. So, it's not an easy decision. And then fast tracking it also made it look more suspicious. But at the end of the day, I think it was the right call.
So let me ask you, did you guys, because I think over 1 million people died during that time.
That sounds
during
right.
The pandemic.
Yeah.
Don't remember the exact number, but I actually know a few people that died. Do you guys know anyone that died from COVID?
I didn't know anyone who died. No.
I don't.
No, I didn't know anyone who died, but read enough about it to take it seriously. So
yeah. Well, believe me, I wore my mask, so I wasn't around here like COVID isn't real. I wasn't doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, okay, this ain't gonna be fucking everywhere, and I'm around here be the only one talking about. No, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not gonna be the guy in the grocery store saying, "Why am I gonna wear a mask?" I'm not that dude. Look, I'm gonna put on a mask just in case, even if I believed it wasn't real. Enough happened for me to say, let me protect myself just in case I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So, and look, I felt it was real, but I knew I wasn't going to take a vaccine for it. I knew that for sure.
Have you been vaccinated for anything, Jermaine?
What do you mean, for COVID
no, for anything,
measles?
MMR or influenza?
Yeah, when I was younger. But
do you get flu shots every year?
No, I don't.
You don't do that. Oh, so
No.
okay. So
I haven't.
So the one time you were immunized, it was against your will as a child because your parents made you go, and that was it.
That was it. That was it.
Actually,
I'm
the
being
school
serious.
district.
Okay,
I'm being serious. That was it.
Whoever. Yeah, I mean,
that was it.
Yeah,
I've never received any type of vaccines in my life. Shots to where it fights off, viruses or I don't know, harsh agents, whatever you want to call it.
Because for years they had polio vaccine, and that I think was required. But
you know what? I went to the military. They give us those shots. You know what? I'm lying. I went to the military. Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever they do in the military, but it doesn't cover a large range in the military. It covers SARS.
I'm sure you had measles, mumps, rubella. You probably may or may not have had polio.
SARS.
Smallpox is another one.
Anthrax.
Wait,
believe it or not, anthrax
is anthrax a virus or
a virus
agent?
No, it was an agent. But if you go to certain regions, they pop you with some anthrax anti. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was wrong, Jamal. You're right. I had to think about that, but that's the only other time.
That's fine. No worries. I do want to ask you about something.
I'm a Jackson. My body fight that shit out anyway, baby. You know what I'm saying?
He's the bad boy in the group. Didn't I tell you that?
Till I fall over, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, he should have took those shots."
Here he goes. Let me ask you this: since we're on this topic of science, are either of you flat earthers?
No, but I can understand the lore behind it. I can understand the lore.
No, there's no.
How can you understand the lore?
No,
are idiots.
No. Hang on. They can still be idiots, and you can still
unless you're a
understand
subscriber to our channel. Please subscribe.
Yeah. So they can still be idiots like Kyrie Irving, but you could when you listen to what they say, okay, you're sitting here, you're looking out, it looks flat. Okay, well, yeah, it looks flat, but then you go up, it doesn't look like you understand what they're saying, but you can still say, yeah, I just don't think you're right though. But I understand how you're thinking as a crazy person. Because if you're I'm crazy myself. So I can put myself in their shoes and say, you know what? Let me make up some shit today that sounds really, really good and maybe it'll catch on.
And what would that do? What's the point of that?
I don't know. I could trademark it. I don't know.
Oh,
Just any fucking thing, bro.
oh, it's for
People just want to be seen and heard nowadays.
it's for personal gain, is what it is.
Personal gain. Hey, look, most of the things people do are for personal gain in life, to a certain extent.
Which is why social media is evil. Just being honest.
I believe. Well, I'm not.
It's
Yeah, I'm
not-
definitely not going to say it's
Too much of
angelic
everything.
or heavenly. So I'm not going to say that.
I think it started off positive because, like in the beginning with Facebook, like I reconnected with a lot of people, and you know the conversation was like really like good. It's like, oh yeah, you know this is great, and what do you do for your community and blah blah blah. But now, whew, it's just a cesspool of all kinds of craziness. And social media, Discord was used by the shooter to talk about his plans.
Have you guys seen the one video where they're looking at the stage and there's another guy looking back at the shooter, like going like this, and they were like, "Oh, these guys had to be colluding together." Have you ever saw that video?
I haven't seen the video.
No, it's
I
just
heard about
wild where people minds go in scenarios such as this. But yeah, there's a video where a guy looks back where the shot came from after Charlie Kirk kneeled over, and it seemed like he was looking directly at the building, but he was like pumping his hands like good shot type shit. And I was like, oh.
You know, had this happened 20 years ago or even probably 30 years ago, there wouldn't have been as many cameras on it. Like everyone had an angle or a vantage point to share and then record it. Yeah, I mean, cell phones have changed the game. And then with how quickly things like spread in the news cycle, like it's just, but there's a lot of conspiracy stuff, and that was later debunked. I think he worked alone, he acted alone, there was no one else. So, and his transgender,
didn't his father turn him in?
His parents turned him in. His girlfriend.
W parents.
Who?
W parents. Parents for the win.
Yeah. Yeah, they did the right thing. I'm sure that was a tough call, but apparently he had a transgender. I was gonna say girlfriend, but I don't know if that's the right word. A transgender partner, let's say, and I think that was part of the reason why he felt that Kirk was not in line with his beliefs.
Can I ask a serious question?
Sure.
Was the transgender partner born male or female, or do we know?
Born male, transitioning to female.
So he was gay.
By the RJ squared definition?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure. And nothing wrong with it.
Sure. Well,
nothing wrong with it.
Full disclaimer that those are our opinions. We're not saying that's that's
it's not wrong or right. It's just who he is. We respect him as a person.
Understand? We're late 40s. We're from a different school of thought. But born a dude.
If Jason wants to be called Michelle, we'll call him Michelle. If Michelle wants to be called Jason, we'll call her Jason. It is what it is. Nothing but respect over here. Live your life. Just be the best person you can be.
So, anyway, no. Yeah.
So he was pretty much doing the first topic that we were going to do a while ago was Booty Man or whatever.
Oh, sheesh. Quite the callback. But yeah. So the shooter was gay and the earth is round. So those are facts. That's basically what we're saying.
Thank you very much. Science matters.
It does.
It does.
It does indeed. Yeah.
Now, does soft science matter as much as
what? You just make that up? What's that?
No, well, isn't soft science like the theoretical science like shrink?
You mean fringe? Fringe science? Fringe?
No, here, let me see.
Psychologist is considered soft science, right? Because there's different outcomes for different variables.
I don't know. Captain D, fact check that.
Soft science.
Pull up soft science.
I am. A soft science is a scientific field such as psychology or sociology that primarily studies human behavior, interactions, feelings, or societies.
Oh,
I
learned something.
Meaning, like, well, you heard the definition, but I can be feeling the same way as the person next to me. They could label them a narcissist, but they could just label me rambunctious. So there's different determinations for different people, even though they're going through the exact same thing. It's a soft science. It could be disproven under different what do they call it when they collect the samples? Whatever. You
Experiments?
understand what I'm saying? Yeah, different experimentations or experiments or it's called something else. There's a different terminology for it.
Okay. All right. Well, we get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. You taught me something. But see,
I
this
didn't know
just
that
goes
either.
back to my earlier point with how difficult it is to properly manage mental health.
Yeah.
See, it's not even real science. It's soft. We need hard. We need to go hard on this shit. See?
Well, yeah, I think it's difficult to judge somebody, man, because somebody could be a manic depressive, bipolar, and
All of the above.
yeah, or they could be all of the above. So
Yeah, but until we get that figured out, we're going to continue to have problems. And so I don't know.
There's too much money in it. We're not going to get it figured out. That's the way I feel personally.
Too much money in what?
Too much money to be made
to allow it to continue
from
as a
mental
problem?
health. Yeah, for us to actually take an active stance and be like, hey, let's pour this amount of money into mental health.
That's
like
the pharma.
Yeah.
That's the pharma angle. They don't want to cure. They want to just treat forever.
I don't think it will happen.
Yeah. It's better to treat. Well, from a financial standpoint, anyway. I want a cure.
Yeah,
but
I believe you. I think most people with some type of mental ailment do want cures, but hey, then you're not going to have any psychologists and psychiatrists. No one's going to be going back to them. It's the reason why people who are married go to a marriage counselor, and the marriage counselor keeps bringing them back instead of saying like, look, man, y'all need to get a divorce.
Yeah, I'm on the. I've tried that, and it just seems like we're gonna do this for 10 years and keep talking, and nothing get better. That's how it feels to me.
Marriage counseling, you mean?
Counseling in general. I actually had a altercation with the counselor once.
Did you really?
Not physical, but
disagreement.
From the very beginning, she was very like standoffish and so I introduced myself. This is recent, and I wasn't using my head. Was I using my headset?
Right.
Maybe I was, but I had my mic. And she's like, "Oh, that's a very sophisticated," because this was over like Zoom or something. "Oh, that's a very sophisticated setup you have." And I said, "I know." And I go, "Yeah, well, I'm on a podcast, and I just want to make sure you can hear me well, so I figured I'd do it." And she's like, "You're not recording me, are you?" I said, "What? No, I wouldn't do that. This is just for us to, yeah." So already she's like, "Okay, I don't know what that was about. Well, whatever. I'll forget it." And then she starts saying, "Well, if I'm not a good fit for you, we can cancel this."
This is out of nowhere before the session even began.
Yeah, I'm like, "No, well, honestly, I'm just now meeting you for the first time. I don't know if I want to continue or not. Let's keep talking." "Okay, well then, what can I do for you?" I'm like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, "Bitch, I don't know. I'm just here because I'm looking for some counseling, but is that okay?" Like,
bitch, I don't
in my
know.
mind, I said that. I didn't call her a bitch to her face, but in my mind, I'm like, "Bitch, why are you asking me these questions? Do your counseling thing, right?" And so she's like, "Well, usually people kind of tell me what it is they need or they're looking for." And I said, "I'm looking to talk to someone about some issues." "Okay, so what are you?" So I give her the issues, and she's like, "Well, again, if you don't think we're a good fit," I'm like, "Why do you keep?" And I said, "Okay, so this is like the second time you brought that up. Am I doing something wrong?" And she's like, "No, I just want you to feel that if you don't think we're compatible." I said, "Well, I felt we were fine until you kept bringing it up." And she's like, "Well, I just feel like you're not like happy." What?
Well, that's my problem.
Not with the outcome that's happening now.
Yeah, I'm just like, you're making this end up to be the result you are afraid it is. Like I'm just asking questions, and then you ask me about, am I recording, which I'm not, and she's like, well, okay, if you want to continue, let me know. If not, I was like, well, I don't know. It's been 30 minutes now, sure. And so then she goes through all these questions, questionnaire, until finally she goes, "Well, how are you feeling now?" And I said, "To be honest, I'm a little annoyed."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, why are you annoyed?" I said, "Because of all the shit we went through the first, half hour of the session." "Well, again, let me remind you." I said, "Don't say it." And I did say that. I said, "Don't say it." "Okay, I know I have a choice, but I'm choosing to continue." And she's like, "Oh, you seem triggered."
Yo.
I hate when people say I'm triggered. I say I'm not triggered. I'm being very direct with you, right?
Yeah.
You're asking me questions. And so already as an outside observer, if you were to see this going on, you're like, ooh, this isn't
Yeah.
going well.
I wish you
Right.
would have recorded it.
Nah, bro,
should've.
that'd have been against the law.
I should have.
Well, no,
Well,
you're not in the
I
one.
was just-
No, it doesn't matter because she's probably not in the one party state.
Well, yeah, she was like, you can't record it. That's what she kept saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she says I'm triggered. I clap back with I'm not, but I am triggered by that statement. You saying I'm triggered. And she's like, okay, well, can I say, can I remind you again? I'm like, please don't. No. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I sent her an email follow up, and I'm like, maybe you're right. I mean, I guess you win because I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm not looking forward to the next session.
Yeah.
And that was it. And she's like, okay, I agree. I think I'll help find another counselor. But then
Do you think she was just trying to get you away from her because in her mind you may have been recording? Like went through all that just to be like, okay, I don't have to worry about him again.
That's a great point because it was good up until she asked that question, but she didn't clarify or go any deeper than just to say, if you're not comfortable, like maybe that was her way of, I don't know. I'll never know. But all I know is,
Jamal, do you
Yeah.
think, so if, let's just say on a scale of 1 to 10, have you ever had a therapist, I'm assuming you had more than one, that was above a 6 as far as quality of therapy?
absolutely not. The highest was probably a 4.
Really? Wow.
Yo, I never hear good things about therapists.
It's
bro.
always been a
So-
shit show.
So I will say, in my experiences with therapy, psychotherapy, I've had a multitude of therapists through my military time and now as a civilian. I've had maybe 2 or 3 that were, I can say, up there around the 7 range.
Out of
where
how
I
many,
would
though?
Out of
feel-
how many? Out of how many?
at
Yeah, that
least
part's important.
20, at least 20 or 25.
Oh,
Okay,
At
yes,
least.
that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But see,
so
that just goes back to my point. Therapists aren't the same as
so less than
psychiatrists.
20%.
Yeah.
Way less.
And the thing, and the problem with that was as a military member, you got to move every 2 or 3 years. So if you're established with the provider, back then we didn't have the Zoom thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a different world. And then you got to reestablish with this individual that you got to tell your story again from cradle to grave. And it's exhausting.
It is.
Exhausting doing
Yeah.
that over and over again, right? You're just like,
Yeah.
look, F it. Here's my resume. Freaking A. Read it.
Exactly.
And let's get started.
I have a question for both of you as a
And they don't
person.
seem to care that you have to repeat yourself. They just want to hear you
Yeah.
say it.
I have
Yeah.
a question for both of you as a person who's never been to therapy.
You're
And-
smart.
Well, I just don't think they help. I think you can actually solve. I think most people, if they actually take a step back, get educated, can actually solve the problem that they're going through on their own. Now, not for everything, but I think for most minuscule problems, like, I feel depressed. Well, you know what? Go work out, get in the sun, ride a bike, get active, things of that nature. I think some things have
That
a
is true.
fix that can happen. But I do have a question, the actual question. Have either of you guys, and you don't have to answer this, cried in therapy?
Yes.
Yes? Which one say yes?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay. And it doesn't, and I don't mean boo-hoo, just like tear up, really emotional,
I
even if
have.
it's a tear,
I have-
and you
yeah,
turn
I
around and
have
look at the
boo-hoo.
wall like this.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've gotten emotional
I have-
in therapy.
Okay.
Absolutely. I've
Yeah.
gotten emotional.
Now, do you
100%.
think the therapist was trying to draw that out of you, or it just happened organically?
For me, it was
Organically.
organic.
Yeah,
For me, it was
me too.
organic because the subject matter was so deep and hard to even say out loud. But I felt not say pressure, but I felt obligated to say it out loud, and saying it out loud made it real, and that was very difficult to deal with.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
But therapy, I think it's a mixed bag. I think there are good therapists out there. There have to be, because there are a lot of people I know who were like, after I had my divorce, they were like, you need to see a therapist. And sometimes I feel like that's just something people say without having any experience with therapists. They just feel the need to say that. But I have yet to have a positive experience. I've tried.
With any therapist ever.
With any therapist ever, I've had.
And out of how many though? Like Raynell. So Raynell had 2 out of 20.
Like 6 or 7. And I'm just done. I'm like,
That's a decent sample size.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't say I haven't tried. I've tried, and I've had one therapist just flat out say, "Well, I don't know how to help you anymore. So, I can be a referral." The therapist who diagnosed me with autism, she's like, "Okay, you do in fact have autism, but I'm not available to treat you on a, you have to find, you know what I mean?" So so I was either passed off to someone else, and then there's all that trial and error to find someone who, is well qualified, and they're not all the same. So
Yeah. And another part to that is it's incredibly difficult as a man to allow yourself to be so vulnerable, right?
yeah.
And just, going back to what I was talking about before, telling that story over and over and over and over again, to me sometimes opens the wound
Yeah.
and makes it more difficult to continue to move forward. But then I think to myself, well, maybe I need to continue to confront this, and deal with those demons that I deal with at times. So
Yeah.
I struggle. I don't know what the right answer is. But I do know, to Jermaine's point, movement is key when it comes to
Yes.
mental health. So when it gets hard, ladies and gentlemen, keep moving.
And I'll
Just
say
keep
this.
moving.
I'll say this. And as a pharmacist who's been practicing pharmacy now for over 20 years, the best policy I feel is uh physical health. So eating right, getting plenty of sleep, and exercise. That will do more. Oh, and then also having meaningful connections with either friends or family, and,
And
and
what
being
about
a
a
part.
sense of direction,
Yeah,
like
and
a
having
goal?
purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, having
Purpose.
purpose.
Mhm.
All of that. I would say that trumps medication anytime. Not to
Yeah.
say that if you're on it, you should just stop. Please don't do that. Don't
Right.
take that from what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you're not doing something holistic, like eating a well-balanced diet or getting plenty of sleep, or just being still and being quiet, having time to reflect or exercise, or if you have friends, because there's a man epidemic of not having a lot of friends. And I'll be honest, this is one of the few times I speak to other men my age. I'm usually, work doesn't count because that's just work.
Yeah.
And I got my kids, and there's my wife. But I look forward to these because you are like-minded individuals who are men who are my age, and I can just be myself and say what I want to say. 9 times out of 10, you get it. So that's that feels good. I feel a sense of belonging, and that's important. That just coincides with mental health. So I would say all of that matters and is very important, but I think a lot of us just don't make the time to do it. And
Oh,
then,
I want to
yeah,
ask you this question, Jamal, from what you just said, because you
yeah,
said you get a sense of camaraderie
yes,
from the man standpoint, and men get other men because in most case scenarios we understand the plight of men. That's pretty much what you're
absolutely,
saying, right? Do you think
spot
if
on.
you had the same friendship ties with women from high school, you would get that same type of understanding, gratification, or clear, concise bonding with them? Or do you think it would be different?
My answer is no. It would be
Okay.
different because if any woman who wanted to speak to me, who I knew from Atlantic High 95, would probably think I was trying to have sex with them.
Not just the sex. No, I just mean just the difference between genders. How you say men get men. We can understand certain things. Like if you say, "Hey, man, if this was something that came out of your mouth, like I felt I not only wanted to, but had to make enough money because I wanted to have a family, and that pressure was on me." I think me and Raynell both can be like, "Oh, that's understandable." Like,
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
think a
yeah.
woman would be like, "Yeah, that's understandable. I wanted to take care of my husband and my kids."
From wait, okay, so hold, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's back. Let's roll that. Let's run
The
this back a
difference
little
of the
bit.
two.
Let's run this back. So these are women. They're women now, but were young girls
Yeah,
at the time we were in Atlantic, right? In the
yeah.
early to mid 90s. And so you're asking me if I were to have a relationship with these women, platonic,
What
okay,
time?
would they be
No,
suitable?
would
Would
you
I?
get the same um gratification out of how you get from our meetings and our podcasts and our camaraderie? Or do you just think it'll be different?
Barring from the social complexity of me being a married man speaking to a either married or single woman from my past, even if that were platonic. There's a lot of social hurdles to jump just to get to that
Okay.
point. But let's just move that aside and say it doesn't matter. You then have the hurdle of you've had the last 30 years of traversing this life as a woman. I've had the last 30 years traversing this life as a man. I haven't even gotten into race and religion and what you did after college, or I'm sorry, after high school. So that's not an easy question to answer because I think you have to go on a case by case basis with examples. But the most general answer I can give you is maybe.
But more than likely, no.
More than likely, no. There's so many hurdles leading up to that being possible is the first thing.
Yeah.
If it is possible, now are we aligned enough politically, professionally, from an educational standpoint? Because I'm well read. I do research. I'm on a certain level. I'm not trying to brag or anything.
No, you're good.
But that's just where I am. And maybe you had the opportunities, maybe you didn't, or maybe you just didn't care. That matters. Okay. Because when we connect on RJ Square, we do so from the stance, not from any higher education perspective, but from a real salt of the earth, we're men kind of perspective. And plus we have that nostalgia because we grew up together, right? And so that's our connection. But if I'm connecting with someone else and we haven't had that, I have to wonder what's going to bring us together and make this meaningful. And I think a woman's going to have a more difficult time of meeting me there than say you or Renell.
Okay. What about you right now?
That's a
Yeah,
no.
Jermaine.
I think I would agree with Jamal to a certain degree. Yeah, I think there's merit to what he's saying. For me, with you guys, it's that bromance, right?
Right.
It's the understanding. You're not going to get that from a female, regardless of generation. It's just different. It's a different relationship. I think we were talking about this the other day, Jermaine, about
No, I'm laughing at behave here.
Oh, he's
what you
bad.
say?
No, he's an expert in everything. He
What do you
knows
say?
what he know. As a pharmacist, you should understand a chemical imbalance to why the drugs can help. That's just saying words, and like they reminds me of no, seriously, it reminds me of a YouTube clip of someone saying all the people in Washington are fascist, and so the interviewer was like, "Can you tell me what a fascist means?" Silence. Just same thing. Like just saying shit. Like, what are you talking about? Sorry, I just saw that and laughed. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, I think I'll sum it up by saying I concur. Jermaine, I think we talked about it the other day. When we talk about compatibility, there's compatibility amongst men and there's a compatibility amongst a man and a woman. And that compatibility amongst a man and a woman is a different combination as opposed to a bond or a esprit de corps between a man and a man as a friend, right? So it's just different.
Okay.
However, when it comes to therapists, I will say that I prefer women therapists to men.
I agree.
Interesting.
I agree. And this may sound sexist, but I think women have more of a maternal, comforting essence to them. And I've had two male therapists, and it just seemed like if we can't connect on a bro level,
Yeah.
like I'm not really comfortable opening up to you and saying some personal shit to another man. Like I'm not talking to you about certain things, But a woman, hey, I'll open up. Sure.
Yeah.
So I have another question. We were speaking about Mr. Charlie Kirk, and I think I've heard him say this before. I know I have, that feminism has made its way into higher learning, into the school system, into government, and also into therapy to a certain extent where the majority of therapists, and correct me if I'm wrong, the majority of therapists are women, but they're approaching it from a feminist point of view where it's equal slate. Um, Everything's equal between men and women. Have you guys experienced that whatsoever from a
No.
female therapist where, well, you should be able to release your emotions and feel and be just like a woman and cry and things like this? And
I think that therapist I had that altercation with, I think she may have been a feminist. Feminist.
Mm.
I say that because she felt the need to label me triggered. And
a
that's one of those.
buzzword.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those buzzwords. Like after triggered, she was gonna probably say male toxicity after that. You know what I mean? Like just all this stuff. That was probably what was gonna happen next. Like I'm getting a lot of male toxicity through the Zoom call right now. Like had she said that, I would have been like, that tracks. You know what I mean? So
Right.
maybe she was, but
Right.
it didn't get that far. But I think they're a minority because
Okay.
you're gonna ostracize a lot of patients with that, and you shouldn't let your own political, because I feel that's political.
Yeah.
That's not. I know it's a soft science, but I don't think in their education they were taught to use a feminist like slant to help treat people. I don't see.
You don't think it
how
would just bleed over if that's what they've been for
it
15 years?
it might, but that's wrong. I think you should be objective in your treatment, because let's say you believe one race is better than the other, that's going to come through whether you directly say it or not in just the energy you give off.
Right.
So you really need to check yourself at the door before you go into your therapy room or whatever and speak your truth.
Yeah, no, my experiences have not been like that, Jamal. Mine have been with individuals that I felt, at least, that were very non-judgmental and were very much just kind of hearing me. The problem was that we just didn't connect, and we got to that point where we just weren't a fit, quote unquote.
So I got a last
that-
question, and this is a little
Mhm.
lighter. I take it from both of you guys, most of your therapists have been women.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you ever had a super hot therapist?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
What was her
Mm.
ethnicity and approximate age right now?
I think she was mixed, Black and
Ooh.
Latino and Native American.
Whoa.
I don't know. I didn't go there.
Where's she
ask.
at?
How many parents she got?
Right? Damn.
Yeah, but she was, I ain't gonna lie, she was banging, like amazing. And it was distracting for me. You know me. I was
we
like,
know you.
Jesus.
You're Captain D.
Did you ever get into the mind state like
I will say
she's asking me
this.
some stuff like, does she actually is she into me?
No, no.
You're about to
because
say
I'm
yeah.
not.
You said no.
No. There
Okay.
were moments, because we were talking about sex, right? And there were moments where I found myself
Thought you had her.
saying, no, I was saying things, my tone, you know what I mean? I think I was crossing the line a little bit.
Oh,
And I think it had a lot to do with my attraction towards her. Right? Yeah. I'm serious. Like I was saying
that's
things.
good.
I was like, shit, am I like trying to hit on her?
did you
Like,
realize that once you left the session, like walking out,
yes,
like what the fuck
when
was I
left,
doing?
I was like, what the fuck was I doing? Holy shit. I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be
This
doing.
is literally
right?
why I'm here, to control this shit.
You know what's funny? The one who I had the altercation with, she was not attractive at all. In fact,
Oh.
she was like a 2. Yeah.
What color was her hair?
Black. Jet black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe if she were attractive and we went through that whole thing, I would have like
Bear through it.
Man, maybe. But she was actually 2 is generous. I'm gonna downgrade her to 1 now that I think about it.
Damn.
Yeah, she was rough. Yeah, no, she was rough. Yeah.
Was she at least clean cut, or she
No.
was just
No.
Okay.
No, she
Well, she had to be presentable though.
she was
Blouse.
presentable, but you know the type of chick who looks like she's slightly overweight, nothing wrong with that, but she looks like she owned cats. You know the type,
Like a
you know,
bunch of cats or like
yeah.
one cat?
more than one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was getting
she
that-
had it all over her clothes.
It just seemed like if you visit her house, you can tell she has cats.
Yeah.
That's the
Not
vibe I
feeling
got.
that.
Like she didn't
Mhm.
have the green screen. I could see the background.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay,
Ill.
all right. I see what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, quite interesting. This is definitely actually we should talk about that.
It's been a minute, bros. Hey, hey. No, I'm not even talking about we're going on 2 hours, 25 minutes, that too. But I'm talking about been a minute since we've been on. This was a good podcast, man.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, it had to be because we had so much to say.
Yeah.
This was a good conversation.
Are we wrapping it? Are we calling it?
Yeah, we can call it. And guess what, man? I think we hit our we had 5 live viewers today.
Good. I hope they were thoroughly entertained.
Up to 6. Up to 6. Yeah. At some point
Good.
we need to create some kind of a call-in system for sure.
They got a call-in system on Streamlab. Wait, do they? Hang on.
StreamYard, I don't
Making
know,
stuff
I don't
up.
see it.
Hang on.
And just so you know, X requires a premium account, so that
I just saw that.
So that never popped off.
That
and then
didn't go.
And then Instagram you
shut
cut
down
off
on me.
after 1 hour. You only get an hour. That's it. Because they're
okay. All right.
ADHD over there. So you know, so you get an hour. That's it. And then and you can't stream. I don't think. But anyway.
Well, you know, an hour is good enough because we can still play it for an hour and hopefully they come to the channel to watch the entire video.
Exactly.
Oh,
so it could
like
be a
Patreon.
funneling system. Yeah.
We need to start Patreon. That's what we need to do.
But there's an overall cost for that to even starting, right? Because Patreon is meant to have it's not OnlyFans, but it's a membership based thing where you can actually gain more money. You can put what you want.
Jermaine, we're not going to start an OnlyFans channel, man.
No, I'm just saying. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? But besides Patreon, there's something else. Because a lot of people are using Patreon. There's another platform. I'll think of it later. There's another platform that you can use also where I think Streamlabs. So Streamlabs, YouTube, I don't know if you guys know this. When people donate, YouTube takes like 70%.
That's some gangster shit.
And I think
what does it cost them?
Ass raping.
What
like
does
if
it
somebody
cost
gives $100?
No, I hear what you're saying, but why?
I think Streamlabs takes 3% of all donations. And I'm
Why
like,
are they
yeah, it makes
taking
sense.
anything? No, they should just give a offsite, like just donate to my checking account here. Like, I don't see the point of that, but
they have Castle Club, they have Streamlab, they have Patreon. You remember the like 7-10 years ago, that famous Jay-Z quote, like YouTube are the biggest culprits, they taking this percentage. Do you remember that verse he had?
No.
Yeah, it was in one of the songs, I think, with Kanye, when he was talking about big corporations and how much YouTube takes from the people who use their platform. And now looking back on it, you're like, wow, he was right. They're taking a lot. They're taking like almost 2/3 of everything you make.
Well, this is why we have antitrust laws and why monopolies are not a good thing, because YouTube
is a monopoly.
They're so in terms of streaming content, it's YouTube.
Oh, we need to start a Rumble.
Well, Spotify, Spotify's out there, right?
They're trying to get into video, but they're locked
behind.
into audio. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, we need to start a Rumble. Rumble is the closest thing right now. Even Charlie Kirk on Rumble, Candace Owens, all these. So Rumble is legitimately free speech. You could talk about Adolf. You could do the hand salute that he used to like. They're literally free. Not saying we want to, but they're literally free speech. Like, you know, on YouTube, you can't use for someone who's happy, who likes, you know, men on men. You can't say the F word there. You can. So they're literally free speech to the utmost.
We should reach
and it's
out.
Free.
We should reach out to Candace Owens. I wonder if she'd give us a time of day.
Probably wouldn't, but hey, who gives a fuck? Let's reach out anyway.
I would try. I would try. I mean, she's big, but I don't think she's. I don't know. Maybe she is, but anyway, I feel we have a chance for some reason. I don't know why, but
she's been on some things I didn't think she would. She went on Fresh
Whatever.
and Fit. She went on Whatever podcast.
She did go on Whatever. Yep.
She went on Jubilee.
She was on Jubilee?
Yeah, where she had to debate like 20 leftists or something.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Charlie Kirk was Charlie Kirk was on there also.
I did see that Jubilee. Yeah.
Yeah, but she went on stage that I didn't expect that she would go.
Okay, all right. Renell's getting antsy. Okay. Well, that is a wrap for our episode of the RJ Square podcast, where the combo never stops. If you vibed with us, do us a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment. We want to hear from you. Subscribe so you do not miss future episodes. We are here when we are here. Don't worry about it. No. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We actually have Facebook now. Fact check me, Renell. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay,
Snapchat.
cool. Yeah, and so, but if you subscribe and you hit the notification, you'll know when we're up and live. And we're always going to upload these clips. And I'm sure from this episode, 2.5 hours, there'll be lots of juicy clips. So definitely check that out. So, Captain D, where can people find you on social?
People can find me on IG, Raynell Sa _JR.
All right, and Hypocrite 2.0.
That's a new one right now. They can find me November Rain. That's the old one. November Montgomery, all platforms. Also, like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're actually streaming. Also, if you're a guest and you want, or if you're a person anywhere, you want to come on the podcast, email us at the email in the description box, and let's make it happen. Let's do it.
And in case you can't read the description box, it is rj2podcast@gmail.com.
You can tell I do none of this shit. They do all the work. My apologies.
No, it's all good. I got you. I was ready for you. It's cool. And I am Jamal, and you can find me at Jamal is Good on Blue Sky and on Instagram. And
check out Alien Earth. Great show.
Oh, it is good. Yeah, definitely check that out. And Peacemaker, also a good show. All right, fellas, that's it. To everyone else, peace.